Hey, you guys, welcome to the podcast. It's Plat Chat VALORANT, and we're here to talk about everything that just happened. There was a lot of gaming this past weekend. There was Masters Iceland. There was the PAX East Splitgate tournament that Mimi was casting. There was
Yes.
a lot going on. I think there was an Among Us influencer tournament.
Dude.
I saw that the Hustler Live Casino had a poker tournament with like Saikuno and Ludwig. We could talk about. There's a lot of tournaments this past week that we could discuss, but I think we're gonna primarily stick to Valorant. Are you guys okay with that?
No, that all sounds very interesting.
I want to talk about the Saikuno Among Us tournament, please.
Yeah, Kurt said that we're not allowed to have fun this episode. Kurt said that there's no jokes this episode, which is really annoying. So if you like jokes, humor, comedy, and fun, this is not going to be the episode for you. So let's talk about patch notes. All right, let's get into patch notes, guys. This is going to be this is where the excitement lies. So Jett finally got some.
Damn.
What?
Just go ahead. Let's get the shoulder out.
Dude, I'm getting right into this shit. Oh, also, let me introduce everybody. We got. No, it's too late for that. It's too late. Mimi's here. Bren's here. Balla's here. Brennon, Balla, fresh off the plane. Bren, you're staying with your nan's house. Everyone's coming over for dinner.
It's not actually a joke this time,
right?
Because the entire dude, I got to talk about this because people don't even know this. Why was everybody at my nan's house? They weren't. I came up with a very fleshed out backstory because I know we're getting hyped for the event and we're going into quarantine and I'm not allowed to talk about it. They said they want to do a talent announcement, so I'm like, okay. I'll say I'm going to the UK and I'm staying with my family, I'm staying with my nan. We get to Iceland, Josh says he's staying with my nan. Balla says he's staying with my nan. Doug says he's staying with my nan. Everyone says they're staying at my nan's house. And immediately my story, my backstory, my lore that I had created falls apart.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro. What do you mean? I was at your nan's. That's where we were. You see, that's the problem.
Family dinner.
You need to just stick with the whole thing, and it would have been fine. We would have all been fine.
Mimi, I saw you were doing some gaming stuff. Did you get to play the new game at PAX? Did they release the new game?
Here's the thing. You guys were doing some little piss baby Valorant event. I don't even know what that game is, man. I was casting the PAX Arena Almost Pro Splitgate 10K tournament. So who's really winning?
Damn. They got
honestly, Splitgate's kind of cool.
They got the
cool
bread in that scene for real.
For real.
That's pretty sick. Was it? Wait, is that the one? Where's PAX East? Where do they do that?
In Boston. It's in Boston. It's in Balla Town. I don't know. Like
20 minutes away from me.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, God Squad versus Don't Look at Me. This is actually what we're going to be revisiting. Plat Chat Splitgate.
New podcast is about to drop. New pod on the way. Dude,
Look how exciting this is. He like killed. It's like Halo, but then they added portals.
It's pretty
That's so
sweet.
sick. That's so cool.
It is cool. It is a really cool game.
We get some Splitgate.
I've never played it, but
Twitch
I
emotes
know
in
it's
the
cool.
chat. Yeah, I didn't play it either. Looks cool.
Dude,
Okay.
People loved it. Like there was like a big audience. Like our audience was like full of like just people who heckin' love Splitgate and just showed up to like play the game. It was pretty
bigger
cool.
audience than
Bigger
Masters
audience
REYKJAVIK.
than Masters. Yeah.
Larger audience than REYKJAVIK. Massive L for Valorant has been taken.
Ryan, what are you doing?
Okay. Now we'll talk about
Patch
the
notes. No
now
fun.
we'll talk about the patch notes. Jett got nerfed. Sova got nerfed. Neon got buffed. We'll talk about all of that and more in this upcoming segment. So, as we read the patch notes. Also, new agent has been added to the game. Oh, but that's the next topic. But it's on the screen, so I just am acknowledging that it's in the patch. Competitive Q 5 stack. It's back.
I have a question.
Is it back? I didn't
It's
even
always been here.
I have a question.
Yeah, raise your hand.
Ask
please.
a question.
Raise your
I
hand.
have a question. When does the patch come out?
Today. It's
Today.
It's out already.
Yeah, Valorant
Already?
2 is out today, and the new patch
I
is
opened
here.
the game and it didn't update. Is it because I'm in Europe?
Oh, you're in Europe.
Dude. Another L for EU Valorant. Actually, this is conspiracy by Riot. This is why they're not qualifying. They're getting the updates late. They don't have enough time to practice on new patches. This is bullshit. NA's got a distinct advantage. Okay, but anyway. So what's first on the line here, Kurt, when we scroll down? Jett. So they finally they changed the dash. Long have we awaited a change to the dash where now you have to, if I'm correct here, you press the button and you have a 12-second window within which you can hit the dash key. So you have to have some semblance of forethought as to when you want to use it. You can't just walk around and then, oh no, I'm in trouble, and hit. Maybe you're raising your hand.
Yeah, now that this is a civilized podcast, no fun, no jokes, just respectful discussion. I would like to respectfully bring up the point that I think Jett is still good and in a way has gotten a buff from this, because now when you activate her ability, that's when it uses the charge. We all know that the dash ability takes 2 kills to bring it back. So now if you activate the ability, it uses it before you actually dash. It uses it when you activate the 12-second window. So if you're a cringe opper, you're posted up on your angle, you activate the dash, and then you kill someone and dash away, you get 1 charge towards your next dash, which is kind of cool. So cringe Jett oppers, rejoice. As long as you can pre-place when to use your dash, you'll be 1 step closer to having the funny ability again.
It is quite cringe, though.
That is cringe, I think.
Not
think?
the change they've made. The change they made is actually really good. Do you
It's
like
a
my
good
setup
change.
as well at home? I've got medication bottles. I've got my clothes on my bed. I'm holed up in the prison that Avast usually records from, except it's not. It's my grandmother's house. It's quite nice. And I've rearranged all of her furniture. I quite like the change. They could have gone in a couple of directions for it. I haven't actually played around with it, but it seems like they thought for a long time, how do we make this change without completely wrecking the agent, right, and removing that as an ability in the first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think it's on paper seems pretty good. What do you think, Balla?
I think that the really good Jetts are gonna have no problem with it whatsoever, because they just intuitively know when to dash anyways. But I didn't actually realize when I was playing the patch this morning that thing that Mimi brought up actually happens. It's weird, but still, that's directly I'm holding an angle. Let me wait for somebody to come in. So it's really hard to actually pre-place in those instances. The instances where you can pre-place is when you are about to make an aggressive play.
Right.
The defensive stuff, it's still kind of hard to use it without using it getting the shot, getting off an angle, and then tapping it and just trying to get away from them rushing you or using their own skills to catch you. It's still fucking good though.
It's still good, but I think what makes it reasonable is that it deals with Jimmy and Timmy, a radiant Smurf who comes down and plays in a bunch of Plat lobbies, just dominating on Jett. I think that's where this was directed towards the more casual play, towards competitive play, towards making her less of a pub stunt agent. She's still going to be good in competitive play. People will get used to this. People will be able to adapt around this. I think it's just kind of adding one extra element to kind of push that skill floor just a little bit higher. So it's just slightly more difficult to use her and slightly more difficult to be OP. I think it's a reasonable change. It's obvious they didn't want to make a big sweeping switch up that would have made her kind of fall out of the meta. I think this is a reasonable in between, makes her a more fair agent.
Yeah,
okay.
I like it as well. Another aspect is the whole idea of a Jett initiating in for your team by dashing into your own cloudburst and cutting crossfires up, and you can still do that, They haven't removed some of the cooler implications of it for big execs. It's more they're trying to. It was clear, with these changes, that they're trying to tone down that aspect of feeling wow, this game is really unfair because I just died to a Jett and they can just get out for free. So.
They're making her more of a team agent, and that's good.
Cringe. Team play. Cringe. All right. Is Neon next? I saw some Neon hair there, I think. Or am I? Oh, there it is. Okay, so Neon got a bit of a buff. So her battery energy is now received upon killing an enemy increased 25% to 100%. So if you get a kill, you can start zooming around again. Zoom. You just get the instant recharge on the battery. Okay, so that's a buff. Then moving down, we noticed Neon has faced some friction when using movement to lead into combat. What am I looking at here? Specifically failed inputs due to the velocity restriction. Dude, I'm not a scientist. We hope these changes help with making slide a lot more natural when engaging fights. So the slide cannot be cast during a quick delay. The velocity restriction has been removed. What does that? Neon can now slide sideways and forward, and only requires that she's moving. And the energy drain is increased from 6.7 seconds to 10 seconds.
Okay, so I am a scientist. I am a
Okay.
scientist,
Help.
and I'm gonna help you guys through this
Help.
one.
I got kicked out of college. Help.
Before, I didn't go to college, but trust me, I'm really smart.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
There was before a limit on how fast she could go that would sometimes make it feel like you're kind of like running into something, or feels like the game is intentionally slowing you down. But it would only kind of be like a momentary increase in speed. So say you're like jumping and that kind of like bee-hoppy speed, I think it would would kind of try and shunt you and try and slow you down. They've removed that to try and make the agent feel more fluid. There also used to be like that like charge up time where you had to be going a certain velocity to be able to use her dash or her slide ability, excuse me. Now you just have to be moving. It just has to be like a positive integer, and then you can press the button and you can slide. And I think they've also allowed sideways sliding from my understanding of the patch notes. I think now if you're moving to the right, you can press the slide button and slide to the right.
I sent you a video, Kurt. It's
video.
the Korean patch notes.
Pog.
They should go through all these changes.
Korea
right?
VALORANT YouTube with your
I haven't looked at it yet, but
very helpful
they
videos.
should go through it, I think, so we can have some footage.
Well, also there was the influencer test that had all these stuff. So
Were the
probably
neon
should
changes
everything.
in the influencer patch?
Yeah, I think all of these were. I don't know. I didn't get a chance to play. I was traveling.
Oh, okay. The battery. And then running around, sliding.
Yeah, see, she can slide right now.
Sideways?
And she slide back inherently, because I remember there used to be a thing you can do that I think they got rid of at one point,
Right.
where you could like jump and then like whoosh, and like
Yeah, I
slide
was
back.
doing that in
the
my
edges
game.
and stuff.
Yesterday, someone was doing that in my game. I was playing
Yeah.
ranked. Not unrated. No, I wasn't. I was playing unrated. I don't know why I would lie about that.
They're showing with the wall at the end here that it doesn't damage your allies anymore. So didn't someone die from this?
Yeah.
Iceland. I can't remember what the situation
I
was.
think
Probably
it
someone
was
on OpTic,
Victor.
right?
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah, but I remember someone dying to that on Fracture. But yeah, so a few buffs here to Neon. Necessary? I'm not sure. I mean, I think the movement stuff is cool. I enjoy the
movement stuff increases the skill cap. That's always good in my opinion.
it increases the
That's
skill
good.
cap, and I think it just makes it a more fluid experience using her movement abilities, I think.
Yeah, but I think you're gonna struggle actually to understand how the agent is moving against, like if you're playing against her now, because it's like sometimes she's gonna shift like with her dash, just directions completely. And
Right.
obviously,
Maybe.
there's already Jett who does that anyways, but just I don't know.
I suppose the question is, was it even necessary? Because, I mean, the team that won Iceland was already using Neon. They were, an early adopter team of Neon, like OpTic, M3C. But I don't know. Is it the time to already begin buffing the agent when she is seeing some early
Well, I
play?
think if we want to get like duelist parity, then yeah, sure, why not? Like buff Phoenix, buff Neon, buff. I don't know, just like all this.
I think it's just trying to bring her in line with Jett, because she feels like a more fair equivalent to Jett than ever before with this change. She can slide sideways now with any movement. Like, I could see people abusing that to maybe try and, I don't know, do something crazy, try opping on Neon. I don't know. I think with Jett kind of having a raise to the skill floor, Neon having a raise to the skill ceiling, it allows them both to do similar things, and I think can give us more and more maps where Neon is played as an alternative to Jett, which I think is a good thing. And I don't think you will really, if you're playing against a Neon, feel like this is a big buff and Neon's OP now, she's so hard to play against. It's just like quality of life. It'll make better players better, but it's not automatically going to make someone who's just like a Garbo player pick up Neon and be a god.
I'm still not letting Josh pick it.
He's kind of demonic on Nemon.
Nemo.
I love Neon.
His Nemon is
Fine,
pretty good.
Nemon.
He's zooming around.
Well,
actually, it's not good. He just farms eco kills and then stat pads hard. It's actually some
Yeah,
bullshit.
and also screams to always pick breach. If he just like he locks it in and says, "Somebody play breach, somebody play breach," blah, 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 and then someone has to play breach and just follow him around with a fault line the entire game, just holding the fault line up to him the entire game, and then he feeds and he makes a little YouTube video out of it and gets some revenue, and then everybody laughs, but nobody thinks about the elo loss.
Yeah, I mean,
What do you think about
I
what
can't
we're
remember if
losing?
we mentioned it on this podcast. I can't remember if we did it in a couple of weeks ago. It's maybe it's a month ago now. I haven't played ranked in a while, and it's because of this. I played 11 games in a row with Josh. We lost 10 of them, and we both went negative in every game. I mean, literally, the common denominator in every loss was Josh and I at the bottom of the scoreboard, and it just boom. I just uninstalled the game and moved on with my life. Sova, that high-level ranked pro play, Sova's been a staple for quite some time. Now, that's the line I wanted to read to segue into this conversation and question that I'm about to ask, which is, I think, Sova was, for the first time, falling out of the meta, at least in like the must-pick way, for the first time. So, is this really the time that Sova needed a nerf? They nerfed the Owl Drone. The duration of its lifespan has been reduced from 10 seconds to 7 seconds. It has less health, so it breaks faster. The dart reveal ping only pings 2 times now instead of 3. So, is this even really a good time for Sova nerfs? Have these nerfs just come too late?
Always a good time. It is always a good time. Yeah, I mean, I think this is the one agent where like it worked the opposite way in terms of, and Jett, where the nerfs come after people have actually figured out everything that's good about the agent, whereas other agents is always like, well, this agent's good, but nobody plays it until it gets buffed. This is the one agent that's different. The agent's still mad good. I just think that there's more synergies to be had in a lot of different places during the current meta, and that's why you're seeing him kind of fall out of play. That doesn't mean he's still not mad good, especially the Hour Drone, and especially just the cooldown on the recon. I mean, just fundamentally, the character is always going to be good because of the abilities. There's nothing you can actually tune. Works. Yeah, exactly. There's nothing you can tune to make this agent worse, in my opinion.
Like, information's mad valuable in the game of Valorant. So, yeah, it's I don't know. It's interesting. I definitely agree with you, Balla. That I think the nerf, it was obviously necessary, right? Because Sova's just been dominating. He's like definitely been following just after Jett in terms of like play rate at pro play. But even in ranked, I mean, you just get mad value out of Sova if you're good with him. It's just always a good pick, pretty much, with the exception of like some maps. But then teams have been experimenting and playing the cringe comps. We're all North Americans here, but we can say it. The teams have been experimenting more with they've been playing, what is it, a double flash, like full like execute, full retake,
double flash omen comps.
Yeah, all of those different comps that keep coming up. So I think that's why obviously like the play rate. Did you see the somebody like made a tweet of like play rates? Was it Fion?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think Fion did, and it was like the play rates of it.
It could have been
like the lowest.
Everybody's hopped
parity.
on. Everyone has just hopped on the cloud train of, if you just drop some stats on Twitter, just drop some information in a graphic, you just get fame,
No, people don't even
riches.
do a graphic. They just go to VLR.gg or run it back, enter one statistic, put it on their Twitter.com website, and then they're like, this is content, man. Eat this shit up. This is scrumptious. This is delicious.
It's
Stop
bullshit.
it. Stop it.
I'm posting it right
bullshit.
now. Give me a player I should post a stat about.
Victor First Bloods. Post a stat.
Okay, where is it? Europe, event, REYKJAVIK.
I mean, it was the most parity at all, or for controllers at least, and also Sova's down to like 50 something.
Yeah,
like maybe less.
I don't know. I think the changes are reasonable. I don't think they'll hurt him that much. I think they make him more fun. I think the thing I'm most excited by, like, sure, having like a little like nerfing the pings a little bit is great, but what I'm excited about, shock dart, double shock lineups not being as cringe. I think 75 damage is really reasonable. It puts him in the place where he should be. I think Sova should be a character to get information, deal chip damage. He shouldn't be able to just giga boom someone by having a cringy lineup. I think that it does. You have to be perfect to be able to insta kill someone is good. And I think that it's a wider spread so that you can be a little bit more free flowing with the shocks. Nice change.
I disagree. I'm high key sad green frog about the shock dart damage being decreased. Shock darts, counterpoint.
Let's hear about it.
They're fun. So
yeah.
That's what I'm disappointed in.
Yeah.
I like to just.
I completely agree.
I don't even like to have lineups. We can all agree. Having lineups, cringe. cringe having lineups.
I think that people that don't have lineups, this is a buff to people that don't have lineups, because as long as they're in your area, they're going to do like 50 to 75. Okay, tell me.
Incorrect.
Well, no. Actually,
and false. Go on,
no,
Bren.
you are. I think Mimi's right.
How is you right? It just does less damage.
No. Because they altered. If we pull up the patch notes, listen. I'm gonna put on my scientist glasses for a second. The radial damage has been scaled in accordance with the new max damage. So actually, I don't know. I think this was disproven. I can't fucking remember.
Radial damage.
The boys down at R&D, research and development, were working on this. They were testing this shit. I think, who was it? Was it Average Jonas? I think tweeting about it. But it didn't end up. I think it was in the end. It wasn't true. But they thought that actually it was going to be more consistent to do damage now with them because the circle was changed.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that they consistently do more damage, but you're less likely to just gigaboom someone with double 90.
I've got to find Average Jonas's tweets. Where is it?
Listen, I got into esports because I have no skills or knowledge in relevant fields in society, math,
well, let me tell you this.
So,
let me tell you this.
I don't want to have to know what radial damage is to play Valorant anymore. This is
Go to
too
my
much.
tracker.gg. Go to my tracker.gg. 208 hours played of Sova. I am Sova. Okay, I understand this agent. I understand how to play him, and I understand that this change is good. All right.
Okay, I trust you. Actually, I trust you on this.
Okay, you know what? I'll take your word for it.
I have 1.36 shock darts used per round. How much do you have, Wyatt?
2. All right.
Wait.
Now,
Just no way, dude.
I use 2 in every round. No matter what, I buy 2 shock darts and I use both of them in every round. Okay, is there any?
Shoot him at the wall.
Okay, are there any other important patch notes here, Kurt? Okay, no other important patch notes except for. Wait,
This is
agent
not important.
ability ammo. Oh, it'll show how much ammo you have equipped. Finally, I'll know how many rockets I have left in my showstopper. Okay, 5 stacks, do whatever. I want to talk about the new agent because the new agent came out and she's cool and she has cool abilities and she's edgy and everybody wants the new agent to step on them. So we're going to talk about the new agent FAZE. What's she all about? She's got some information gathering ability. I really like the drop the new agent with like the lore and stuff during the stream. I like that. I enjoy that. I enjoy getting my dosage of lore while we're watching the Iceland broadcast. So she's got 3 abilities, and now as far as I can understand, these can be broken like Reyna Lears.
Yes.
They're quite Lear-like, but
a lot of it can be broken.
Right.
It's hard to break fast though. You have to literally break it super fast, like while it's spawning.
Like, look how quick
or
it
it will
pops
scan. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
It's pretty much instant. So I'm a big shot influencer, so I got to play the agent already. And my first take is that I think one of the most exciting parts. Yeah, it is all about me actually. One of my most exciting parts about this agent is I don't know what it's called, but the ball that sucks is pretty sick. It's pretty
sick. It's like a tether, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a tether. That's the name. It's basically just an Astra pull, but good again.
Dude, look at that.
Yeah, it's a good Astra pull, and it's really sick. I think teams might play her, and I think there's a lot of potential with that ability. With less teams playing Astra, you don't have Astra anymore. Why don't you just bring this lady? She throws out her pull, her tether thing. You combine that with the pain shells, insta kill. It's sick, and then she has information too. We've already seen some giga nerds. Average Jonas has already played like 100 games of this character and has like a bazillion lineups to get to use with it, and they're really effective. I played against him and got obliterated because you can kind of put them on like high angles. So like if you think of a map like Ascent on the A site, those like little like overarching like metal things, you can put one up there. It looks down, it covers the entire site. It's really effective. It is similar to Sova in that you probably do need lineups to get the best use out of her, because if you're just chucking this out onto the floor, it'll probably get insta broken. But if you have the cool lineups, there's a lot of potential. And then kind of adding the terror trails and having the doggies to follow it is just like a nice little kind of quality of life thing. Like you can dog into a smoke, it'll clear if someone's in there with the line of sight, or you can have it run along one of the terror trails, and it does a lot for site executes. I think with the Sova nerfs, both agents as well as Skye are all like really viable as a primary initiator, and I think we'll see some teams implement her and have some fun.
Yeah, I that was kind of one of my main thing for her was if those information gathering orbs, if those are easy to break and you kind of just have to throw them on the ground and hope that they don't get shot immediately by, you know, reasonably decent players who can break them fast, I feel like that could just make her overall pretty weak, especially given that the little like seeker thing, the sky seeker that she sends out, is reliant on those having found people. The Gravwell nade just has to be good. But I didn't know that. But yeah, if you can have lineups for those recon orbs and have them land in weird places that can break crosshair angles really effectively, like having to aim up, if you can land on top of something and scan you down, that seems pretty good then, actually. And
it's good, but I think the problem of it is that it's not on a cooldown, right? You can only use it once. Am I wrong about that?
The recon is on a cooldown.
It is?
The recon is on a 45-second cooldown, just like Sova.
Oh, sick. Okay, never mind.
So it's literally the same as Sova.
And you get one.
You get one off the rip. So you get 2 dogs, 1 Gravwell, 1 recon.
Gotcha.
And the recon's on recharge. And then it's a 7-point ult.
Oh, I'm looking at the abilities right now. I thought it wasn't the signature. Okay, cool. That's dope. That makes it actually on par with the information that you get from any other agent. Because I was scared she was going to be like a Breach, where because obviously Breach has no information.
Going to be on the episode, Nan? Sorry, Balla. My Nan's coming in tomorrow.
No, it's fine. I want to talk. Do
you have any pressing thoughts on Fade?
What?
Ask her about Fade.
Oh, I can turn it off. What do you think about this new agent called Fade? Kurt, can you pull up the video? Okay, well, you can just talk into the mic. Just hold on. What? You need to see it though as well. Hold on, I'll play it. What do you think then? Huh?
Finally, an expert on this show. Finally, real opinions.
Well, it's just, is that a person?
Is it a person?
Or is it like just like all I can see is a black blob?
Wait, show her the gameplay again. Put up the gameplay, Kurt.
Okay, I don't. What? Your friend?
Yeah.
Who? Wyatt? Wyatt? Craig?
Yeah. Does your nan really still think that my name is Craig?
No, she's joking.
She's joking. Okay, good. I was going to say, if she still thinks that my name is Craig after all this, after all we've been through, after spending Thanksgiving together.
Honestly, that's a little rude that Balla was at her house staying there with you and she doesn't even recognize Balla.
I know.
That's hurtful, man.
Okay, we'll have to rebuild this.
What just happened? What just happened? What's happening in this podcast?
We took a small detour for a potential bit. It just didn't really fully flesh it out.
She was whispering. Did you even hear her?
Yeah, we heard her.
It was so good.
She was VALORANT ASMR.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought that would be much funnier, but yeah.
Listen,
I'm sure people will find it.
You gotta take a shot sometimes. Not all content pieces end up working out. Yeah, I'm having a tough time with this agent figuring out if she will be relevant in the meta or not. Her ult seems fairly powerful, like that scaling kind of looks like a Breach ult, but it locates enemies, it brings them to a half HP decay. What else does it do? It turns their audio off.
It turns their audio off.
I was playing fucking against the Fade today in my first ranked game. I was testing the Jett changes, and she ulted at all of A split sight, and I was in heaven. I was right on the edge. I didn't get ulted at all, and they're running in like it's a Breach ult, like everybody's stunned. I just sprayed them down. They don't even look at me. It was so funny.
Because honestly, I don't think her ult's gonna be that insane. Because it takes away your audio, and it's like, it's like that in your ear. It's like that in your ear.
Yeah.
But did that make you feel like you were playing against Fate?
Yeah.
So you get that shit in your ear, and then like what? It decays you down a little bit, and I think it gives info too. But it's like, well, you could have a Breach ult instead. You could have a Sova Hunter Spirit. You could have Seekers. I think all those ults on other
initiatives. The decay is nasty though. The decay is nasty. You follow that shit up with 2 fucking powers.
Easy peasy. It's not hard.
No, the cats move so fast on a trail. like so fast.
really?
You spam 2 of them.
And okay, so the cats also, so normally they have like a time limit, they can stay up, but once they hit a trail, they just fucking zoom. And it's like a train car coming at you. It's sick.
Okay, so they're a lot faster than a Sky Seeker.
They're probably like
Way
twice the
faster.
speed of a Sky Seeker. And also because you can't hear, it's kind of tough to shoot them. So that's probably like the best synergy with their ult.
Sure, because it just feels like a lot of time you're just going to have a dead ability with those. But if when you use them, they are ultra powerful, I suppose that can make up for it.
Yeah.
But
The trails are really good for XX, in my opinion. Like you could find out exactly where people are and just adjust and combo certain things. Like the Faye that I was playing with the Brim, and they're constantly trying to trail me and then breach ult me. And I'm still Jett, so it didn't really work. But there's a lot of moments like that where you could probably with
like
a couple
Sova.
more agents, and it'll be mad good, I think.
Gotcha. Overall,
She's
though,
not going to be busted though.
overall seems cool. Yeah, I don't think she's going to be. It doesn't seem like she's going to be busted, but definitely seems like she. I don't know. I feel like she's on the edge for me. She could be good. But I
think
wouldn't be
she's gonna
surprised.
Be KO-ish, where we take a little while to.
Yep.
Well, I don't think we'll actually take a while because I think a lot of pros are really excited to play with her, and I think her value is immediately obvious in terms of like all the comboable stuff that you can do with her. But I also don't think she's going to be maybe as good as that. She's just really good on executes, in my opinion.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to the tournament, the Splitgate final. No, we have OpTic have won Masters 1. OpTic have won Masters
Sorry, guys.
1.
I was trying to figure out my Overwatch 2 drop. I hear the word Splitgate, and I'm just, I'm powered up. I'm ready to go.
So excited to talk about the Splitgate PAX East final. OpTic have won Masters 1. They brought it home for North America. Europeans absolutely in shambles. Josh just refused to be on this episode. He couldn't be here for this. He was so pissed. So OpTic have actually they've done it. NA wins Iceland again. One of the things about, I mean, maybe this isn't the first thing to talk about in this tournament, but OpTic did lose 2 games in this tournament, and yet they still won. Based North American format has allowed OpTic to come back from the lower bracket twice to win this tournament, which is pretty cool to see. Nice to have a lower bracket in the playoff because it gives an opportunity for teams like OpTic that are really good at adjusting for like the second time they play a team or specifically targeting a map that they play and overcoming a team on it to do so, which is what I felt like they did exactly on Ascent. Like in the first matchup when they lost to Loud in the upper final, I felt like Loud were just running over them on the Ascent attack. They were constantly had really good mid control on that, and I think OpTic lost some rounds to that. And then I feel like in the rematch, OpTic were just crushing them with a lot of mid plays, if I remember, in the final. But honestly, it was a good adjustment. And go on, Bren.
I was just gonna say a lot of the OpTic kind of storyline kind of got overshadowed by the just the other storylines at the event, right? Like ZETA Division going on this crazy run, which we're going to talk about, and PaperX doing really well as a team, as as individuals. Like a lot of the EMEA teams kind of getting knocked out as well and getting upset they were at the event. And I think OpTic, a lot of people wrote them off in the finals for, I mean, good reason. They lost the first time around to Loud that we watched, right? That we just previewed. But you know what's fucking crazy about them winning this as well is the fact that not only did they do it in a lower bracket so that they don't have as much time to prep, basically comparative to Loud for it. Loud had 2 bans in the BO5, 2 bans. I mean, this is the first time that they played, so this is one of the things that they've been doing really well. I pulled this clip of Victor's kind of like Neon and the impact he has. By the way, statistically, I think over the course of the tournament, I think he was like 8-1 on maps that he played Neon. And he was about even or maybe below 50% map win rate when he played any other agents. So what you can tell from that is just, I mean, OpTic, you don't even need to start. Everybody knows, like, he seems to be way more comfortable when they're playing these Neon comps and building around him because he's like the centerpiece and the person who's going in and he's being fully supported. You skip ahead like 10 seconds in this clip, you can see what they do. They pop the fuck out of this. It's really cool to see them clear. And all this came through. This isn't the first time around. So the Loud, like, obviously they've beaten on a bunch of maps. Both of these teams have really similar things. But look at this. They use a knife to clear the snake bite, come around the corner. There's the Windows folder. And then the double flashes here. Look, use the flashes on the flash at the lower elevation and outside the door, which means the person that's playing in the pocket on site, if they try and turn into one of the directions, there's a high likelihood they're just going to get full flashed. Like it's really well thought out executes like that OpTic did really well, honestly, initially at the tournament. But then Loud in the finals had 2 bans against them. So they can ban the maps like Fracture, where they lost to last time. And what was the other one they banned? Ended up banning Split. Yeah. And so OpTic are then forced to play not only Breeze in the map board, but you essentially, they were playing to the tune of Loud in the finals. And they just came out swinging. I mean, listen, they were really close maps all around, but it was so impressive to see them do this. And just to tie it back into the Victor narrative as well, Victor, he hasn't been having, you know, as much impact when he's not been playing the Neon, and he was forced onto roles where he wasn't playing the Neon, and he popped the fuck off in Bind. I mean, look at that KD. This guy went hard in the paint, man. He absolutely popped off. And I can't really, what was he playing as well on Breeze? Was he playing a Chamber for them? I'm trying to remember. No, he's playing the KO. They did swap around the roles though compared to the last Breeze comp, because last time they played it was GigaCap in the VCT NA finals. So
yeah. Thing with the small thing to channel Josh here. Let me talk about the map pool. Small thing about the maps with it is kind of, I don't know if it's intentional, but having a map like Breeze for your ban, I feel like does end up working in OpTic's favor in this situation, because it's really not that fucking confusing of a map. I mean, just put up the wall, run in A, go shoot them. Like, it's just not, I don't think compared to some of the other maps, it requires as much detailed preparation and the comps. It's a fairly straightforward map. So for that to be your ban, and if you have to play it, it's like, I mean, we kind of just know what needs to be done on this map. And when you're in good form individually, I feel like it's just a good kind of, I feel like it's a good ban to have in a scenario in this where you're forced to play it. It's really not the end of the world. Like, it's not like Split is your permaban and you're forced to suddenly play Split. I feel like that's a far more dire scenario. You know what I mean?
I did speak to Chet though at the end, and he said they did not get any practice at all with this new comp that they were playing, really. And they basically just come into this and they were like, they cooked it up. They thought it would be better than Marv playing the Sky for them and whatever else they had. And I mean, it was a really close map all around. What did it end up? How many overtimes?
It was in OT, I think.
It was like 2 overtimes.
But yeah, that's what I mean. It's like it's a good map to just, if you got to play it.
I see your point.
Yeah, that's definitely what I was. Yeah, it's what
I don't really think it's that easy to pug in the KO meta, especially like maybe if you're playing the Gambit comp, then it's harder to pug or easy to pug. But I don't know. This KO versus KO thing is very difficult to call around, in my opinion, without having some idea and structure on like where you should be at certain times, because it's hard to hit those timings, I think.
Yeah, and they did a good job with it. They did a good job with it. I was most impressed with the Ascent game, honestly, because they were just so dominant on the defense on Ascent on the first map. And then I thought it was a respectable performance from Loud on the second one to keep it that close on Bind, where OpTic are just so strong so consistently. But overall, just an excellent performance from OpTic. And I think for me, the big difference of both teams was that in the upper final, when Loud won, I felt like the Loud supporting cast were really online. Like Pancata was crazy on that on map 2. Les was insane on Icebox. And then in the final, I felt like the supporting cast for OpTic kind of won the day for them, where like Auspus was in crazy form on Loud, Ye was popping off, but it was the other guys on OpTic that I felt like really stepped up at the right time. Like, you had FNS on defense on Ascent was locking it down. Mardo had his moments. Victor had his moments on Bind. Like the supporting cast around Ye were there for the final, and I feel like they made the big difference.
I think Marv was the biggest kind of step up for me with OpTic, because We saw throughout challengers kind of this neon role for Victor growing and him looking more and more comfortable. And I expected him to do as well as he did. Ye as well has just been a consistent demon throughout pretty much everything that he plays. But for Marv, he was a guy that I felt like kind of slow getting into this roster. Now he's in a position where he's back to playing smokes. He's playing like a bazillion different roles for this team, trying out the chamber, playing every different controller agent. And he was just looking so incredibly strong and having these map pop-offs that I feel like in a big way kept them alive, especially in like those lower bracket games versus ZETA Division. Just the impact that he was finding clutch after clutch, consistent support for players like when it was space being made by someone like Victor, it was immediately just like these big rounds followed up by Marv. And for me, he was kind of almost the biggest story of OpTic in being able to pull through and find like a standout match for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
Let's all sit in silence as we watch this clutch.
I mean, this clutch is pretty insane.
Oh my
Pancata had
God.
a nasty map in that upper final, but possibly the biggest difference of all, and is the reason why I think twice OpTic lost, but then were able to regain their footing and win a second time and continue through the tournament, is was just the IGL differential that was at play. There are some infamous rounds that are like very kind of like obviously pretty to look at, like that Bind round where OpTic were hitting A and they like took the TP, came back into FNS's Vipers. But like there are rounds like those that I think are easy to point out. But just overall, the calling differential throughout the tournament, this was just the FNS tournament.
FNS was different this tournament, man.
It was so good.
I kept making the same joke in the green room every time. I was like, is it FNS's birthday? Because the fucking last time I saw him play this well, it was his birthday during VCT Stage 1. So I kept making the same joke. And I got a little, listen, I was getting pity last every single time. I was
every time you stepped in, FNS's
just a little, just in the green room, like, when the fuck is this guy leaving? just wondering when I was gone. But dude, I got a lot of respect for FNS. You could tell as well whenever they played those voice comm pieces, where you could hear them talking to each other. FNS he's a hell of a leader, man. He's a hell of a leader. Like, he keeps them calm. He keeps them hyped when they need it. Like, he does a very good read on, I think, the state of the team when he's playing. And as well, the community, that pervasive community narrative around Jett, and like everybody, there's a lot of people obviously that don't like him just because of the way that he portrays himself in interviews and stuff. Jett just strikes me as a guy who's just not charismatic in interviews, but understands what he's doing, to a degree. Like, it's clear at this point because the players clearly respect him in the interviews. That Marv was shouting him out at the grand finals interview, saying like, a ton of people hating on Jett, but they wouldn't have made it here without him. I mean, it's clear that the players respect him to a degree. It's clear that he's cooking stuff up. And it sounds like as well that he was just giving all the players tons of free reign. And finally, when they started shitting the bed, they was like, okay, listen to the comps I'm cooking up and actually play them now, is what I was gathering from all of it. So, well, I mean, all around, just a fantastic storyline. I love the fact that REYKJAVIK is won by another North American team as well, when Sentinels kind of just shot the bed at the end of 2021.
2 slots.
So
Pepe laughing, hysterically laughing green frog at the 2 slots for North America. Yeah, that is where the also where the Jett and FNS differential for this tournament comes in, is really just at, I think, the beginning of the year until now. They actually led the meta of this first part of the year, being the first team to go, or one of the first teams to go really hard with the chamber, and one of the only teams to go really hard with the neon and win with both. They got more value from the chamber than any other team in the world, and I think that's a big reason why they got here. They made those decisions early in the year to do something new, lead the meta in a different way, and it worked. They stuck to it, and it worked, which is very cool. This was one of the rounds where it was, they were just destroying Loud and their mid play. Loud would just always work up cat, get close up mid, early round over and over and over. And in this rematch, they were just getting crushed by OpTic.
Yeah, it was actually super cool. Watching Ascent, after having seen OpTic's Ascent so much over the last few months, it must be their most played map throughout Challengers playoffs and everything, basically. and they're still adding so many new layers to it and new setups. It's cool as hell. So props to FNS, props to chat. I think the chamber point is really good. Why? Because Ye had again one of those performances in this tournament where it's up there in the greats. You know?
Yeah.
And obviously this game is getting harder. Obviously we're not going to continue to have people break those types of records and tournament performances, but he was ridiculous. And he was playing chamber more than anybody at this tournament as well. And it just shows the reliance on this agent that we're going to have going into the future. But I don't think we even really talked about Ye enough at this tournament because it's just Ye. And when you actually look at it, though, he was absurd. So much more than any of his challengers' performances. And he just shows up again online. I mean, this guy is ridiculous.
And I think the reason why people aren't talking about him is because OpTic made a decision that not many teams would, which is when you put your star player on chamber, you are limiting them in some capacity to be able to like take over and hard carry a game. Because at the end of the day, Jett is way more fluid in the moment. Like if you need a big play to be made, like Jett is going to be able to pull that out for you. You should still do it on chamber. Don't get me wrong, but they made that decision to put him in that role, and instead the rest of the team needed to step up, and that's where they found like difficulties. Obviously, when Victor was the one who needed to step up, and he would just be flopping. But it just wasn't the case throughout this tournament, man. You had if there was ever an instance where one player was supposed to be stepping up, essentially someone else on the team was ready to just take their place and just popping off. There was like Marv in that one. It was the match like Marv and Ye in the Ascent game, I think in the rematch, right? Was it them? And they were just winning so many scenarios together, just fucking locking that shit down all the time. Crashes, I think, on the final map absolutely dominated, if I'm remembering correctly. Like he had a really good performance considering he's pretty supportive and quiet, at least this year. It was a sick run. It was a super sick run.
I mean, I don't think we talked about it a whole ton, but with the Jett nerfs, I think Jett was already in a position where, you know, she's an awesome agent, but you get so much value from the chamber. And if you have a good player like Ye, they can get almost the same impact, if not more, in being freed up to play that role. I think with that agent being further nerfed, being able to have a chamber player that can have a lot more freedom, that can be that Stark and step up when they need to be, but also having the freedom to kind of play someone else as that Raze or as that Neon. It's what a lot of NA teams we're doing in challengers and heading into masters here too. And I just think it gives you so many flexibilities, because if someone's having an off day, you can still find so much impact, even if you're not fragging the best way possible. The utility that chamber provides, or even your Neon player in some of the slower maps for Victor, it was still about creating that space. It just kind of gives you more layers, less reliancy on someone who is just that like giga hard carry. And obviously Ye can be that guy, but he never needed to be in this event, at least in most of the maps. And that's one of the reasons that I've been such a big fan of this team.
For sure. All right, we can talk about Loud. They finished in second place. This is so sad. They were so close. This is so sad. But they do finish in second. Still a very respectable performance from them. You know, they win their first 3 matches. They do beat OpTic in the upper final. And despite being a 0-3 loss in the final, they were very close on 2 of the maps, and they had a comeback brewing on Ascent until Marv just decided to win the game. On like one of the second, I think it was on the second last round, Marv just won out like a crazy clutch or something. I can't remember exactly, but
on Ascent, yeah, it was two rounds where Marv led them getting thrifty wins. That's how they come back.
Yeah, he just popped off at the end, shut down the comeback. And then really, I do think it's respectable that they got that close on Bind, where OpTic have just been dominant all year. That's just been their map. And they keep it close on Breeze as well, a lot thanks to Auspus just outright winning a bunch of rounds where he just decides to kill 3 people on his lonesome with knives, something like that. Auspus had a sick final, but unfortunately wasn't enough this time. This was their first big tournament. And at this point, I still, it was a good event. It was a good run for them. And looking forward to seeing more of them in the future. Come back next time. They have a great roster, top to bottom. Easily. Good performance from top to bottom, and it's all about Remember, it's all about champions. We didn't even.
But that's their mentality, isn't it?
We didn't need to win this one. It's all about champions. This is fine. This is fine, Bren. We're gonna win. They're gonna win champions. This is fine.
I think this is more than fine. I think this is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the team dominated their region. We knew they were good. I mean, you guys were really high up on them as well before the tournament, but we didn't know how far they were really going to go, like inherently, just because you just don't know how teams stack up against the global competition. Sometimes stuff can go wrong. Sometimes teams underperform at LAN, but these guys showed not only promise, man. I mean, they made the fucking finals, man. This team popped the fuck off. It's going to be so exciting now. Brazil is this region where they have this fucking super team, and moving into these global events, these guys are challengers now for that top spot. They're going to be up there with the EMEA teams and the NA teams now, all the way at the very, very tippity top when it comes to that. So I think they can walk away from this incredibly proud, and they have the mentality already built because they've got a sports psychologist called Arthur, because I read some interview about it, and he's been like kind of instilling into them this like that mindset to like not get sucked into the hype. And yeah, they've got this like great mentality for players on that team being so young to just look like the big picture is champs. Listen, we learn from the loss, we come back stronger, blah blah blah, whatever. Typical sports quote. Get the coach outfit out. Give me a whistle. I don't know, but no, I think they could be mad proud of this, and I'm stoked as well now for the future. Oh man, I don't know. The future Masters events are going to be so good.
They beat OpTic too. I mean, they beat them after being down 1-0. I thought they were done and dusted after they got fucking owned on Fracture for their first time.
They were warming up to the stage.
Yeah,
like, the whole time. This is fun. I kept saying on this. Connor was getting ahead of himself. He was like, "Ooh, OpTic go crushing him." Connor, they're warming up to the stage. Just you wait until map 2. They're warming up to the stage. They were just warming up.
Yeah, and I mean that was an element to it too, because they had probably the biggest in terms of hardships outside of the EU teams because of just the whole COVID situation. 2 of their players had COVID at the beginning of this, and maybe asymptomatic, not as severe as the Victor situation, the champs, but either way, like they only got onto stage in the upper final, which is crazy. Yeah. I think the big takeaway for me is that every single one of their players at some moment in the tournament got the taste of domination, right? Like Menchaca had massive moments himself. Sasi was still really good at the beginning of the tournament, kind of fell off towards the end. Thadhack was the only guy, but even him, he's IGLing as well. So like,
I feel like Thadhack had some great moments.
Yeah, I mean, I just can't remember any of them off the top of my head. I just, for me, I look at him and I'm just like, okay, this guy was clearly underperforming compared to online. And I watched a lot of their games, and he was, in some cases, like the second best player on the team, like at some points, right? Second or third, which is ridiculous. But he was nowhere near that. That's why I'm saying that. But that's fine because he's experienced already. He's already been in those situations. And the rest of them just need a taste of that. And next time around, like, they're going to know how to get in those positions. They're going to know how to put themselves mentally in the spot, thanks to Coach Arthur, I guess. Dude. Is that his name?
I don't think he's a coach, but a sports psychologist. Yeah,
mental coach.
Yeah, like the mental coach.
No, this team is good, and
Brazil good.
Them again.
Yeah. Finally, as it was promised all those years ago, eons ago.
Well, I don't know, Ball. Just you wait. There's more rosters cooking up. Just you, there's gonna be 2. There's gonna be another Loud. Well, maybe not another Loud, but there might be another really.
Well, actually, now that I think about it, like Vivo Keed getting back on there, like good again, would be nice. Because that team has a lot of.
He is still pretty insane. There could be another solid roster, but yeah, an awesome performance from Loud. I'm glad that they made such a deep run, and yeah, I think what you said was kind of key. They all got the taste of domination. They all know that they can do it. They all have the ability to take over a game. They've all felt it. They all did it at some point. And moving forward, that's kind of the base foundation confidence that you need. Also, in reality, that final was a 3-1. They won the walkout. They had the way swaggier walkout. OpTic were coming out. They were kind of like stone faced, kind of like a little, this is okay, we're walking out. And then immediately Menchaca comes out smiling, swag on a fucking trillion, hopped up out of bed, turned my swag on type shit. And then it was like, all right, okay, they're winning this game. And then they didn't win. But it was a 3-1. They won the walkout, all good. Yeah, and also it helps that OpTic need to come up with a hand sign, because when you're doing the walkouts, if you have a hand sign that you can do for your org, way better to do the walkout with, because you can walk out, hit the fucking loud L, and then you're good to go. But OpTic, they're walking out, they've got no hand sign, they don't know what to do. OpTic need to come up with a hand sign.
Throw up the wall? Like, what are we doing?
Wait.
Brick by brick.
Oh, wait. Oh, OG.
Oh no. What are we working out here?
I see what you're going with.
I'm trying to figure this out.
We'll workshop
Doing the
this.
Macarena.
like
we'll
this?
workshop this, but
We've had
we're almost
OG.
there.
Let's go, OpTic Gaming.
We're almost there.
This,
this-
what do you guys think of the stage as well?
Fog.
The stage was.
How much of that was real? Like, are these
Fog.
LED walls or is this AR?
Yeah.
That's an LED wall on the on the
Oh,
side of
that's
the
so
ramp.
sick. That's
Yep.
so sick, man. Heckin' love Valorant.
It was so
Nasty.
dope.
Yeah, it was very cool. Cool little switch up, getting on the big stage at the end. Also, OpTic had the white jersey advantage. The white jerseys hitting way harder than the black jerseys. Okay. ZETA Division, the biggest surprise in Valorant history, but
True.
actually, they are the biggest surprise
Actually.
in Valorant history up to this point.
So I
you
think
know-
100 Thieves winning first strike was the biggest surprise.
What is? I mean, that is some obscene and actual outrageous North American
I
propaganda.
know it's a joke, but it still knocks me out.
100 Thieves winning first strike. Yeah, that I guess. I
can't
mean,
even remember what happened in that year.
Yeah, but G2
Dude,
Esports won the
anything.
Blast Twitch Invitational in the Ignition series. That was pretty shocking.
yeah, that was a pretty sick W. ZETA Division did manage to beat Paper X in lower bracket final. That's where we left off. Last week, we were waiting on the Paper X game, and they did, in fact, beat Paper X in a close 2-1. At the end of the day, it felt like, for me, on that third map, towards the end of Split, that's where you really saw the stylistic clash kind of play out in the most clear sense.
Pulled around.
it
that
was-
describes that for you.
What?
I pulled a round in that.
You got a round
in that
for me?
match.
Is
Yeah,
it Forsaken
that
walking
describes
down mid
that.
with a rifle dying?
No.
Oh.
Oh.
There were many moments like that. Where the fuck was it?
Bren, while you pull that up, while you pull up that clip,
Oh, it's round 21, Kurt.
round 21, Kurt.
Dude,
As if, like,
this
I mean,
round
you could hear
describes it
Bren, but-
perfectly.
Computer.
ZETA Division stuff.
Pull up round
Yeah,
21.
Because also Paper X is a team, like when they're not cooking up crazy strategies and compositions,
Yeah.
they are leaning on their duelist players a ton. And you could just see this battle taking place. Like it basically so much relying on Jing and Forsaken to get impact in their roles by making these crazy plays. That is crossfire setup. But look at this from ZETA Division. The fucking foresight, man. The foresight. They're just thinking ahead at all times. They have the star to pull on sight because they know that a player is going to be disengaging. The engagement comes in from 10. He nades elbow at the same time. And like Sugar Zero just holding that shit down all the time. Like actually, I don't know, making me eat my words about this whole Asher thing. Because the one thing this tournament showcased more than anything to me was how we are nowhere near like a quote unquote meta developing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like you can play comfort roles and you can fucking dominate if you click heads well, but also like just you can make shit work even if it's been nerfed. You can make that work. ZETA Division, this entire tournament showcased one of the most unbelievable runs I've ever fucking seen in esports in terms of the improvements the team's made from beginning to end. I could not believe what we were witnessing every
Here we
single
go,
time they'd be
Wyatt.
coming back.
Yeah.
They won 5 rounds in their first match.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that what was just shown at the beginning of the clip, that audience, that was live footage of them streaming Sideshow's apology to ZETA Division. That's live footage of that. This is the kind of round I'm talking
What is
about.
this?
With Forsaken just pushing down mid and just being
Shit.
lost in the sauce, because that's where I think those
Any
kind of
other team
rounds
is losing to
it's
there.
where Paper X went too far. This is where we went too far. Like unfortunately, the economy at some points was holding Forsaken back from getting an AWP in his hands, but I feel like that would have been the ideal approach against a team that's playing in the fashion that ZETA were on attack with the pace that they were playing at. The rifle plays were just ending with Forsaken going way too deep and getting caught. And it was on a lot of these rounds that towards the end of this half that ZETA were able to capitalize on attack. ZETA's split attack is quite solid. They had
It's
a strong
really good.
split attack against multiple teams in this tournament. and this was just another one of those showings. So I mean, just another solid win from ZETA. They end up finishing the tournament in 3rd place. They go out to OpTic in the lower bracket final. They met the wrath of Marv in that BO5 where they unfortunately lost 0-3, but they got top 3. They beat a ton of great teams on the way and European teams. It was a great showing overall from ZETA Division. Very impressive. Excited to see more. They've got talent across the board on this roster. Honestly, when this Haven started, Depp was looking crazy. When Depp was in good form, that's when it was things. It got pushed over the top where ZETA were just dominating. But
I mean, even in that series versus,
go ahead.
Even in that series versus OpTic, like we saw so many good moments. One thing that I really loved throughout this event from ZETA Division was it felt like it was honestly very similar sort of OpTic in that it felt like every single one of these players could like step up and have like their moment of glory where they were going absolutely insane. Like Depp was having some really good moments early and towards this Haven game. There was a lot of stuff as well that was coming out, like Sugar Zero. Every time that man had a shorty, something dumb was going to happen. 10 playing on a variety of different roles and doing well. And when they played versus OpTic, they were really set up to counter things out, like especially on this Haven match. They were doing a really good job at kind of shutting down Ye's aggression, refighting for that extremity control. And like there's a world where they could have won that map. But OpTic in the second half did a rally back and managed to win that one on out with a really just wild performance from Marv. But like if Marv didn't have that step up, there's a very realistic chance that they could have like won this series. There was that one map that they did get kind of stomped out on, but besides that, the 2 of their losses were incredibly close maps. The later maps in the pool could have been okay for them. I mean, like ZETA Division, not only did they make it as far as they did, but you wouldn't be like you wouldn't be insane to think there was a chance they could have won this game and gone even deeper.
I love ZETA Division.
Heckin' love them, man.
I think that this team, like fundamentally, the way that they're playing and like how they all fit together and the strats behind them, if they had a better map pool, like a deeper map pool, they would have been the best team in this tournament. Like
really?
That's a hot
Spice,
take.
the spice take. So you're saying, Balla, that on the maps that were in their map pool that they were good on,
yep,
they were so good on those maps that they were, the best on them effectively.
Well, yeah, I mean, not even just like on them. I'm just saying, like the way that they play is so attractive to me that I like it feels M3C-esque. Like they don't have as much like variability in what they can do, I guess. But dude, they have so many layers. They're so good at adjusting mid-round to get into positions where it's really easy to trade. I think the thing that they miss most of all, and I think this almost all falls onto Laz's shoulders, that a lot of the teams that like obviously OpTic and Loud have is they don't have any star power playmakers like Ye or like Marv or anything like that. Every single one of them can pop off, but there's nobody going off and taking a random risk that will pay off. And I think that in this game, with the amount of rounds we play in a match, that is so valuable.
Yeah, you do need those star players. I think, I don't know. The way the ZETA Division think about the game as well, when I was watching their online games, I thought, oh, they've taken comps from other regions that aren't being played as much, and they know certain elements of how they work and what's strong about them. Like their attack side on many maps is really fucking good, on split, all around. But then sometimes it feels like they get a little bit lost or don't think, or I don't know, they have the wrong take on how it was supposed to be played. But then as the tournament went on, they lost these massive games and they were making these great adjustments. And you had players that were really stepping up individually. But to bring it back to your original point, Balla, I do agree. It's like they have these, they have a problem right now with these roles where on maps where 10 can play like the comfort roles, like the Raze or something, he typically has really good performances. But Depp as an individual, he needs to be supported pretty hard when he plays the Jett, which happens on a lot of the maps. And if he's not, then he tends to have a bad game. I think he was an underperformer from online to LAN, actually.
Not by much, though.
Not by much with the ACS. And in fact, Laz also did compensate because he was playing a lot better as well. But for me, the overall, like, if I could choose like MVP of the team, I think it would be Sugar Zero, though, because of the impact that they were able to just have consistently over and over and over again with just their Astra. Their raw aim was sick. I mean, they're dead here, but that's unfortunate time under clip. But just in general, I think the decision making, the plans that they concocted around him with the Astra gameplay as well were super sick to see.
I agree with you a lot on that, Bren. I think that in some of the weirder comps that they brought, I think the Astra in a lot of ways made up for some of these times where they maybe weren't bringing a KO, weren't bringing as many of these like supportive agents that other teams are put a lot of emphasis into in this meta. I think that allowed them to have that supportive element while not having to fully commit into changing up their comps. I think work needs to be done still, but they kind of carved out their own idea of how they wanted to play this game, and they allowed players like Sugar to be on their comfort picks to lean into what works for them. I do think they could have done better of supporting Depp and for maybe trying to put 10 on some roles that he feels more comfortable with, but it's always a little awkward to try and like figure out what's the best possible way to change this up, because you get so many different like, well, if you switch this guy onto this, then you're gonna have like so many run-on options. But I think at the core what I'm trying to get at is that like for players like Sugar, players like Crow that had a little bit more consistent roles, they were doing well, and this team is showing a lot of potential. Like if you looked at their online play and how rough they were even regionally coming into this one, like we all had very low expectations for this team, but they changed, they learn really quickly, they adapt really quickly, and they're not going to stop doing that. I'm very excited, and I really hope we get them at future Masters events.
I think the biggest problem is that they need to have, like, the evidence shows that they need to have good teams to play against to like learn and improve. So for them, I'm scared about their time going back to Japan right now.
I wish they could just like boot camp in like EMEA or something, like just like play there for a while.
But to be fair, like there's actually like a possibility of like something like that, given the fact that they got third here and their champs points right now, their VCT points are probably enough to get them to champs. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's a weird situation worldwide anyways. It's like hard to, but I just fear for that because they improved so much, man. And so I really will stand by at their peak in this tournament. To me, they looked like the best team if they had a better map pool, but they were getting ripped apart limb by limb every single match that they played because they had to play Ascent or Haven. And it's just
then they showcased at the end of it that they could make adjustments to it. I think as well.
Well, I mean, we expected that from them at the end too.
Yeah. Their matchup against PaperX showed that they knew how to counter it as well. I pulled a bunch of specific clips for that, but we don't even have to go into massive detail about it. But yeah, the team's really good. I do want to talk about PaperX just a little bit because they did make it into the top 4, right? So
yes,
but we don't have to
hold on
clips or anything.
Bren, allow me to host, guys. Let's talk about PaperX. They finished in 4th place. Bren, let me host. I'm on the table.
Wait,
today.
I didn't realize we had a topic. Did we have a topic?
We do have a dude.
Oh, I missed. Dude,
do my job.
I didn't think it was in the topic list, so I was like, I'll talk about it. I'll just bring it up.
Oh, you thought he was like just being a dick, but he's just being funny.
No, I was. We actually did have a topic list already. I feel bad.
You should.
PaperX. Guys, they finished in 4th. It was such an awesome showing from PaperX making it this far. And they were they were really fun team to watch. They were the most fun team to watch at the event, and I'll stand by that. I love watching coordinated ranked gameplay. It's very exciting, very whimsical, a lot of joy.
Go watch a 10 stream, bro. It's like not that hard.
I feel like, I don't know what I feel like. I feel sadness at their elimination, but I feel happiness at what I was able to witness, which was Forsaken just fighting at the beginning of every single round, either getting the first kill or dying immediately, Jing just jumping around on Raze or playing Reyna, just doing silly stuff. But they had a lot of coordination behind it, and it was very enjoyable gameplay to watch. This is also for SEA, the best performance from a team yet. And I just hope the PaperX are able to make it through the bracket again, and we get to see more of them. Though I suppose also it's probably likely that with this performance they will make champions. Though I suppose you never know. I mean, the region is producing a lot of strong teams, so we should
even
see.
that 2 teams make it from SEA. It's a lot different in that in that region, just like NA and EMEA. But for the teams with 1 slot, it's like, oh shit.
When you look at the tournament real quick, the bracket again, because there's a the line of thought I want to go through, and I need a visual element because my brain doesn't work properly. So Paper X going up against, who was it they went up against? I think they played Bind against a team. And
Yes.
was it DRX and they lost? No, DRX would have banned Bind.
They did lose against DRX, yes.
Yeah, but
on Bind is what I mean.
Oh no, they did play Bind.
Yeah.
DRX
and then G2 lost to their Bind as well with DRX.
Right, and then when we watched that match, I was like, man, they are not pulling out nearly as much as the cool shit I saw from their Bind online when they were playing the Euro and shit. And I am so glad that they had their chance of redemption against G2 when they played Bind again, and G2 were forced to play catch up. And I was like, now you know how Xerxia felt in the fucking finals of the online thing. Like, dude, that comp is disgusting when you've just got like the shit they were doing was blowing my mind. And unfortunately, I didn't think to pull clips about it, but it was incredible. Like, just, I mean, Forsaken, obviously, immense amounts of confidence. The guy's putting up 239 average damage per round, just ridiculous. But he's being supported by Jing, who's also willing to just int like a maniac behind him, like just the full "we are strong together" mentality. But they were doing crazy stuff, like the countering of the Viper's pit by using Euro ult and then pinging out the Viper, and then fault lining. Benkai's holding a fault line for them to stun them up, so that they're guaranteed to like clear out areas and stuff. It's they were going through thought processes and little trap plays constantly. And G2, they were struggling to keep up, man. And it was a bit sad for me, honestly, watching it, because I had higher expectations of G2. Obviously, I pinned them to win. But I don't know, like I was also really happy though, because it was Paper X showcasing actually what they had in their back pocket this entire time. It's perfect. Yeah, dude, look at this. I'm pretty sure he just like, pings it out, ping, 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 ping. There's the phone line, comes out, he dies in the end, but there's a follow-up, I think.
Both nade.
Yeah, the nade, man, at the back, dude. It's so sick. It's actually so dope. And I'm so fucking happy they showcase this, because it does showcase that they're not just this double duelist int team. They can concoct these really sick ideas on maps when they're given enough time. And I'm just wondering, again, another team where I'm wondering how far can they go? Like, alongside the other teams that we watched that did really well at this tournament from the minor regions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the ranked int thing is overplayed on this team. Yeah, sure, it's true in some aspects, but that's just their style, and they really think about how they want to be pushing these areas and stuff like that. Like on Split, they are very, very safe the way they do it. Like they use both their agents that have escapability, and whoever has like least of that is getting a paranoia or something else from the rest of the team. Like it's quite good actually in the way that they approach it. And there's a lot of like Mind Freak puts a bunch of random smokes for them to abuse as well. And like, I don't know, it's not fully the FAZE like
I would call it an educated int.
Yes. The sophisticated Smeek.
But it's the educated int. They think about what they're doing. They have clear ideas behind it. They set the play up for success, and it catches teams off guard because it's really weird, to be honest. But it works, and it's clear they spend time scrimming it and thinking things out. And they didn't make it crazy deep, but I still think it's a pretty impressive performance for the team. And I think that if nothing else, they're a joy to watch, especially like their buying comp. They're not afraid of pulling out these new ideas, thinking about fun things, and making them work.
I was pretty surprised that multiple teams attempted to like receive the int and just failed. Like, because to me, it's not like a very okay, I'm not in the games. I don't know fucking how like difficult it is to counter fucking Jing double satcheling through a smoke. But like, you know it's coming. And the problem I think with Paper X is that they didn't have a second. They didn't have, in my like, yes, the plays themselves had some layers to them that a lot of people wouldn't see, but they didn't have the layers in the rounds following. Like they would never just stop and not stop inting and like relax for a second, which makes teams have to clear things, which makes teams like worry when they're walking to a smoke because the guy hasn't jumped through yet. Like stuff like that is not in their playbook.
This round was so cool, but I can't remember if it worked or not just because of the beginning, but yeah, where they just like they put up the Viper wall and a ramp and then drop the smoke just past the doorway so Jing can just run through with his judge into vents. Little sussy Amogus runs into vents but just dies immediately, got caught in vents. I mean, it was just It's so silly, but it's very cool. I don't know what the hell happens to the rest of this round, but
Yeah.
they had some very cool rounds. They were very entertaining to watch. Did you guys? I feel like that even the skill alone among some of the individuals on this team is so outrageous that they should be able to repeat this kind of performance moving forward, and will be at more international events. Do you guys feel the same? Will there be more paper Rex at international events?
I think so, but this is
in
similar to
2022?
what we were talking about before, in that I think this is one of those teams where that I kind of worry about them if they're not getting good practice, right? Because this is a team that shows a lot of potential, but it's thus far just been pug stomping and just destroying in their own region. And obviously they're still good teams in SDE. I don't want to discount the region whatsoever, because there are some excellent teams, and Paper X proves that. I just think like it's clear when they're playing against like the best in the world, that's where they start to step up, and that's where they start to innovate past new ideas. So again, like if there was ever a chance this team could get like an American or European boot camp or something along those lines to play against more and more better and better teams with different styles than them, that'd be really good for them. But even if that doesn't happen, still they're a great team in SCI.
I actually think that they'd be counterproductive for them, to be
Really?
honest, because well, it's not like ZETA where we saw them progress throughout the entire thing, where
Okay.
you see them improve. They got what, 4 matches or something like that.
Yeah.
And with their style, it's not like, yeah, sure, you can take some little pieces and put them in and implement them and change them how you want, but for the most part, nobody plays like them, right?
No.
So they're going to go
very
up
unique.
against, like a M3C or something like that, and they're just going to default until 20 seconds. And that's like going to not help them, I don't know, maybe it is. And I think you're right that it'd be nice if they had obviously solid teams to practice against, but I think they can repeat this performance no matter what. My worry with them is the supporting cast. I don't think they're strong enough. And that's everybody except for Forsaken and Jane, unfortunately.
See, I was thinking of a similar train of thought of yours, but I didn't know if like the fact that Jing and Forsaken require so many resources that it just feels like they're taking much more of a backseat,
Sure.
But I do. I mean, I think I'd be more inclined to agree with you though, rather than agree with myself. Do you ever argue with your brain yourself?
Yes.
All the time.
You're having your Joker moment, man.
Oh,
You're
this
having
was-
you're falling apart from the inside.
This was such a giga-brain attempt from Sugar Zero, and then Forsaken just made an insane individual play where he just balls off the spike and baits them into having to push him, and then he just plays outside of the wall. There's some cool rounds in that game. That was a very good series, and a very respectable performance overall from Paper Rex. All right, who was your MVP of the tournament? I could tell you mine. You want to hear mine
already know
first?
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Wyatt.
go ahead.
Okay.
Come on.
My
don't say it.
MVP was Marved.
Oh, yay.
Oh.
Well, who's
I
your
thought you were
MVP?
going to say Auspus. I'm with Marv too.
Okay.
I think without Marv, they OpTic would have lost in many, many more moments. Maybe not series, but certainly maps. He changed a lot of moments for that team. And sure, Ye, I think, was more consistent, and like was the guy for the majority of the tournament. But Marv had his fucking moments, bro. He was insane in the DRX game. So many moments were saved by Marv. In the Loud game, obviously the Thrifties. I don't know, man. I think without him, this team would not have gone as far.
Yep.
I'm gonna be a contrarian. I'm gonna be different. I think for me it was kind of between two players. First of all, I was gonna say either Ye or Marv, because I think you could make a really strong argument for either of those players. They were both really good, really intrinsic to the success that OpTic found in this event. Ye with his consistency, Marv finding a big step up. I talked about him earlier in the episode. I want to put someone else new. If Wyatt's not defending Brazil, I'm going to be here for Brazil, and I'm going to say Auspus. He had just an insanely outrageous performance. Loud was so good this event, running it all the way through the upper bracket, looking so good, doing so, taking down Liquid, G2, beating OpTic the first time. Well, they lost the second. He was still looking insane up against players on OpTic, even when they were losing in that grand final. Auspus was still having big moments. I think he is a guy that is just continued to be a rising star regionally in Brazil, and is just, again, proving it here at an international event, continuing that wild performance against the best in the world. He's my MVP.
You guys are all putting up valid choices, but I'm going for something different as
Come on,
well.
do it, do it.
It's FNS as
Let's
an
go.
individual.
I mean, that's also
FNS.
very reasonable.
I think that's really reasonable.
I think
That would've
the
been
adjustments they made
my
in
second
not only just mid-round adjustments, they made, like, obviously his calling in general coming off the back of that was fantastic. I think the impact he had as an individual, he played some of the best Valorant I've seen from him. Like, normally, I mean, I'm watching FNS and I'm just wondering, what's the funny comedic moment? Where's the banana peel that he's going to slip up on? Where's the laugh track going to play sometimes? But listen, there were still those moments in the tournament. He wasn't necessarily top fragging, but there was one series. Who was it against? It was he was playing the breach on Fracture,
The guard.
and essentially
He saved them against the guard.
He saved
Bren,
them against.
we're on the same
guard.
page here. Everybody, I was saying the same thing last week, and everyone was aiming their sights at me, and I was trying to no, FNS is playing well, guys, no, and everybody was making fun of me. Everybody was throwing fucking tomatoes at me. I was on stage trying to defend FNS last week. Bren, I'm with you. He saved them against the guard.
And so I think that overall this tournament, I mean, he showcased the clear qualities that you need in not only an IGL but actually a leader in terms of keeping his team on the right track. And immense amount of respect, I think, for FNS.
I think what
go ahead.
part of the reason that makes FNS so good, like in his impact for the team, what we heard from like a lot of the comms we got through, is that he kind of does everything. Like he's really good as like just like a tactician out of the game, talking about things with Jett. I'm sure with the ideas they're bringing in between those two, they're really solid. When he's in game, the mid rounding is really good, and the decisions he makes on the fly are excellent. And he's also like a really good emotional leader for the team, keeping the boys in check. A lot of the time, teams will sometimes like have like one person who maybe slots a little bit more into that kind of that emotional leader role. Someone who's a little bit more into like the actual like tactical stuff. This guy's got it all. He performs well in games. He plays like a bazillion different agents. I know I want to be on my Brazil hype train, but I think if there is a player for OpTic that you could most directly correlate with their success, it's the ideas and the impact that FNS is playing inside the server in games like the one versus the guard, and outside the server just with his brain. It's pretty awesome. He's a great player, and he's just been looking better and better.
If there was ever a tournament to give the MVP to an IGL, I think this would be it. Like there's one round I remember where he made a call mid-round where they rotate around and it's the wrong one, and that says a lot. Like he was also good individually. Like not amazing, but good enough that
I'm so used to watching him in the lead up to this. But dude, I have so many fucking vivid memories of them playing Icebox and him playing Sage and just dying with a fucking piece of utility in his hands. Just like,
I mean, there definitely still were those types of moments, but
way less and also
way earlier and
more
not
clutch
important
moments.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I would give a nod to FNS, especially if that, like, I don't know, if there was ever a tournament to give to an IGL, this would be it. This is the most pristine IGL tournament all the way through. But I also don't necessarily know if he was challenged as hard on that front, outside of the RX, the guard.
Mickey Mouse tournament. Knights Weekly. This is effectively a Knights tournament. Masters REYKJAVIK. Let me channel Josh right now. Europe didn't send their best. No M3C. No CNED? CNED? Where was he? He was at home. They did not send their best. Mickey Mouse tournament. Also, I just want to say the word crashies. I feel like I don't think have any of us said the word crashies on this podcast.
He has. Well, I did actually when I was talking about them. I'm
not saying he's an MVP, but I just wanted to say the word.
All right, that's the segment. We're done. Crashies.
I just wanted to say the word crashies because we just never.
He did. He popped the fuck off in the final map of that series.
He did.
It's just like so much of this team is so good that sometimes you just forget that all of them are so good.
But I also think that Crashes has the EA effect a little bit too, where he's just been so consistent. And back in the Crash is the best Sova in the world era, like that era did happen. I'll remind you, it definitely did. You look at the performances that he has, and you're comparing that to that level, and so.
Right.
It's just like, he's
been a bit more of a
not playing as
subdued
good,
year.
but he's playing great. Yeah, his year so far though definitely hasn't been like crazy impressive.
Yeah. Okay, this next topic is fucking funny. Does EMEA deserve 3 slots for future
Oh my
majors?
God.
Oh, this is my kind of topic. I mean, I
Who
just
cooked
want
this one up?
I want the stars and stripes waving behind me. There's going to be a fucking eagle is going to land on the desk. I mean, this is just a great topic. Do they deserve 3 slots? Now, I'm sure there are some people who would say they deserve 4. I would not be one of them. I would not be one of them. Do they deserve 3 slots, though? I mean, does NA deserve 2? I mean,
Okay.
What?
Here's what I'm gonna say. This is gonna be a hot take. I don't think anyone should get 3 slots. I think everyone should get like the default slots they have. NA has 2. Pretty much everyone else has like 1 or 2. And then EMEA also has 2. And then there's a epic wildcard slot that the winner of the previous Masters, the region that wins the previous Masters, that gets it. So say like this one, since we just won Masters in NA, we get 3. Before, when Ascend or when Mech won Masters 2 or Masters 3, that's literally their name.
Yeah.
It's Masters 3 champions. I don't know how they I thought they won Masters 2. When they won Masters 3, they in way of Europe should have then gotten 3 slots to the next one. Make it a wild card, make it a fun and epic good thing for winning the event. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Okay. 2 slots for all I heard from that was EU only deserves 2 slots, bad region.
Yes.
Bren, what do you think?
Bad region.
The quality of the regions, you just need to find a way to dictate the quality and depth of teams in a region, right? And I mean, unfortunate circumstances, obviously, the war in Ukraine, meaning that we couldn't send the best EMEA teams. Like, that's just a fact. FPX couldn't go. And this would have been a very different tournament. I don't want to dive really deep into that and talk about how it means that the tournament didn't matter. The Mickey Mouse tournament fucking theory that I've seen some people trying to throw out there and sprinkle into shit. Because I think when you say that, you discount and you discredit all of the players and teams that worked really hard and went to the event and played their fucking hearts out on the stage. You can't really. It's unfortunate about the circumstances of which we couldn't see the best EMEA teams, but yeah, off the back of this, I mean, what would this be off the back of? Off the back of the fact that they didn't perform well at this event?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's a silly question. I don't know. I mean, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? But no, I mean, of course they deserve 3 slots, but also NA deserves 3 slots. And also, I mean, in my eyes, I'm like, let's just fucking, dude, invite 16 teams to the tournament. Like, the
24.
teams got reduced from 16 to 12. Like, yeah, 24 maybe. Let's make this a fucking party. Let's do 40 teams. Fuck
40.
it, dude.
It's the
Let's do
Apex
40
Legends
teams. I don't know
World
how this-
Championship.
I
We
don't
got
have to build the
99
tournaments.
teams.
I don't have to build the tournaments. It's not my job to make the logistics work. Just do it, Ryan. Do it for me, please.
Yep.
But no, I mean, it would be really cool to see some of the regions, which clearly have more depth in terms of the teams, be able to send out a
So you're saying give
more.
NA 5 slots?
Yeah.
No, I think NA should be off the back of this. I like your idea in terms of adding a little bit extra. 3 slots for next time. That would be pretty cool. And then, but
Yep.
I mean, I don't think you really can incorporate that because the EMEA, it's a bit odd with them losing that. I mean, dude, I don't know. I just want more teams to the tournament. It's clear that there's a lot of teams. Like OpTic lost to Xerxia again in the groups, and Xerxia are a team from a region where a lot of people just, again, didn't really have too high hopes for them. Just in general, obviously they ended up losing the second time, which is unfortunate going out. But it's I think there's a lot of depth in every single region, and the way tournaments play out, and the way there's so many uncertain variables. With a player could really fucking turn up as a Lanimal, and a team could just really come alive. We saw it with ZETA Division at this fucking tournament. Like, there's got to be more slots because you never know where that depth and that potential is going to come from in another region, just hidden below the first and second slot or the third slot. In the case of like NA and EMEA, I mean, it literally happened with Liquid. Let's be real here. Liquid looked fucking ass at the end of VCT Stage 1. They look dog shit. And then they turn up at the event and Scream's putting up fucking unreal numbers. And they end up, and obviously, what they make it like 8th.
Team.
Like 8th, but fuck me. Nobody anticipated them to be playing this well. Like, they popped the fuck off.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You are not wrong. I mean, nothing's changed. I mean, listen, I want to make fun of Europe as much as the next American, but I mean, nothing's changed. We all know what happened. We know, we are aware, but I do want to also still make fun of Europe. Balla, do you have a final pressing thought here?
No. I was gonna go on the Josh rant, but no, we don't need to.
Okay.
Just give every region one more slot.
Excuse.
Give every region one more slot. I love Valorant. More Valorant, please.
Yeah.
Well, how many
I'm
teams
okay
would we
with
end
that.
up with?
I don't know. A lot. Not my problem. Riot, figure
They
it
have
out.
to work out a
Well-
21-team tournament.
Also,
Yeah, I
not
don't
my
know how
problem. Also, do it anyway.
yeah.
This is fine. Break. We're back, and it's roster crazy mania. Who's going where? We got breaking news that just dropped. Hiko has retired from professional play. This has just occurred. No, Hiko,
Are you kidding me?
No. Hiko has retired, and he's now doing content for 100 Thieves, which is
Bren has inhuman reactions. That's what's happening.
this is probably
Eco.
a good time to do it. Has a
How could you do this? Eco.
Bren, this is when you do the thing where it's like he's had a long and storied career.
You want me to
iconic
describe Eco's
moments.
career?
What?
Dude, I didn't watch NACS.
You didn't watch NACS?
Not really,
Guys,
no.
can we turn off the podcast? This is too much.
I mean, listen, respect to the guy.
Crying.
Long storied career in esports.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. The guy, I got respect for the longevity, you know, and he's a guy doing his
He
thing.
did that one clutch that one time when he beat
He did do the
Gambit.
clutch. This clutch was cool.
This what he did. No. Don't play this shit down. No.
No, this shit was.
I'm not
fucking
gonna let
nasty
you
at the
play
time.
down the greatest moment in North American Valorant history.
Listen, we were
That-
fucking losing our shit. We
Yeah,
broke this fucking couch on the co-stream. And that was one of the most iconic moments of the co-stream of last year, the 2021 whatever.
That was.
But this is from the Alpha. What the fuck is this?
Listen. Yeah, that was not from Berlin, but Hiko in just within Valorant itself gave us some iconic moments, some the catalyst of some insane comebacks and some matches that will be remembered in all of Valorant history. So even within just a couple years in Valorant, very, very cool career. Probably a good time for him to step away from playing professionally and just focus on the content thing while it's doing really well for him. And he does a good job of that. So probably a good time to do it. And then we talked about it a bit when the report came out previously with the 100 Thieves roster build. It got officially announced. They got Stellar, Derek, and Will. They got Austin switching over to play the flex role. Bang is playing the smokes. All makes sense to me. I think the biggest question, some of the questions are, how well will Will perform on the duelist? How good can this team be in a short period of time? I thought they were going to have more time, actually, before this stage started. I didn't realize that this stage starts this weekend. So they actually have only had a couple of weeks to practice. Like, they played in the Knights tournament, and they beat a crew, had a close game against the Knights, but ended up getting knocked out by Knights, which isn't, crazy for a new team. Knights are a solid NA team, but I thought they were going to have more time before the stage. They actually really don't have much fucking time at all. So
that's why we were saying that when it started to go so wrong, and then just firing the players, and Echo's being sent home, and then bringing in all the new players on the last minute. One of the major arguments we bring up is like, you don't have time to burn like this. You know what I mean? Like, if this doesn't end up working out, obviously they ended up like Bangs being kept on, right?
yeah.
They found some good pieces from it.
The best thing for this roster still, though, I think going forward, is that finally the team just has roles that make sense. There's a reasonable foundation to build from, of which in the future, if you want to make more roster moves, it is now easier to slot players in and out in a way that makes sense. Whereas with the previous roster iterations, things were extremely jumbled and quite messy.
Yeah.
Things make sense. It is a foundation that will be easy to, build from this point, whether or not they make it through this stage. I think if they had more time, I was I was really confident in this roster's ability to make it through this stage, but I was not aware that there was such little time. So the time may get the best of them in this scenario, but I still think that there's a good chance they can do it.
Yeah.
But if they don't, I think they might just be a victim of the timeline. There's just no time. I didn't realize all this stuff was happening so quickly.
Well,
Do we know when they're playing yet?
No, they're by to round of 32, so it's just a qualified team.
Every bit of time.
They should make it
through
at
that
least
and-
into like the close quals. I don't think they. It's 100 Thieves. They can't lose. They won first strike.
That's a good point. They did win first strike, but they had Hiko then, and they no longer have.
Wyatt,
You're right.
Have you
they no
realized that
longer
you're
have
the
Hiko.
ambassador? You're the ambassador of 100 Thieves Esports for Valorant. Have you realized this? The fans were fucking losing their shit when the leak came out about the roster, and the episode where you came out and you were like, I think there's a ton of potential with these players. Everybody was the fucking
Like, if Wyatt said so.
Wyatt, you are leading the masses, and what you say goes. What you say, you have immense responsibility here. You are leading.
I keep saying
Timmy, he's 12 years old. He hasn't done his homework, and he's watching this episode, and he knows he's going to get in trouble for it later.
I want you to say right now, will this roster qualify? I want you to say.
I said on the last episode when we talked about them that they would, but I thought that there was like at least like a couple more weeks from now until they actually had to play in it. So
Are they making it or not?
Don't
be a politician.
You
He's
know,
the Messiah for the
whether or
people.
not they make it isn't the important part. What's important is that they grow and establish a good bond between the players and the coaches. Create a dynamic, a positive environment that can foster improvement for the future. Valorant's a young esport. That's my answer.
That's a very
Are you sure you're not an investor, or are you like, I think you're Dr. Valorant. Jeez, Mr. Money Man.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see this 100 Thieves roster more in action this coming weekend, and good for Hiko. Being the master of his own destiny, and I don't know where I'm going with this.
He's still a sub on the roster, right?
I don't know where I'm going with this, but Hiko had a fucking awesome career in esports, and now he could be content man for 100 Thieves. Probably a good time to do it. Good for him.
You can finally be a co-streamer. Let's go.
Okay, more 100 Thieves adjacent news. Ethan has joined NRG. Finally, Ethan has found Counter-Strike players that had careers in North America for him to play with, and he will be in NRG playing with Counter-Strike players. What? I think that's what he wants. He wants to play with Counter-Strike players. That's what it seems like, right?
Oh god.
Sure.
That seems to be from what that's what there was a whole stream with Nadeshot where he was dispensing a lot of the information as to what was happening behind the scenes with the team, and the general theme seemed to be that the people making the decisions on that team, which were the players, wanted to play with big name CS guys. They were trying to get Breeze and shit. And then the players didn't want Crander and Zio. They didn't want Crander and Zio. And they wanted to play with Breeze. Now Ethan can play with some CS dudes, which is what he wants to do. That's fine. I'm just acknowledging reality here. This is the reality of the situation, folks. They replaced Android at the last second, which sucks for Android because he's been popping off since he's been good at the game for a while, but I think he was, with the Chamber introduction, had a nice role on the Sentinel where he was going off for NRG this past year, and it's unfortunate that he just got removed kind of in an instant and won't have a place to play in this upcoming stage. But on the flip side, you can understand why the players would want to bring in someone like Ethan, though I think Ethan has something to prove. I think that he this year, he has a lot of hype because of the name value and successes that he had in both CS and Valorant in the past. But I think in this year, he has been good, but he hasn't been as great as he was previously. So I think this is a chance for him to prove something, maybe. NRG, they get a bye into the round of 32, but they're still gonna have to qualify through to get to the group stage. What do you guys think about this? I'm the rambling man. What do you guys think about this?
I have a skewed perspective because the last thing in my mind is Ethan with the whole switcheroo of the roles and him playing the Sova and then also IGLing for them. I don't know. The thing, even coming in, was, yeah,
It
dude,
leaves
I
a
find it
sour
so
taste in my
difficult.
mouth.
Why does it leave a sour taste in your mouth?
Just because of, I mean, all the things that you're saying is, and him talking about wanting to play with CS players and whatever, like, there's a sour taste in my mouth because I had high hopes. I had really high hopes for Ethan, and he actually did perform to those last year. And then this year he just comes in a little flat. I have no clue what, like, I guess he's going to play what, Chamber for this team?
Yeah, I think he
Yeah,
has to
kinda-
play Sentinel for them, right? Because they're
Yeah,
going to be
kinda-
missing
Yeah.
roles.
Yeah, so
Is he calling
Unless they
for
swap it
energy?
around.
no. Hayes will still call for sure,
Okay.
right? Yeah.
That's what I'd
that's-
I would
imagine.
assume, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I
NRG
just
is a team though with a ton of potential. I didn't see in my mind Android as the problem.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought
don't
Android
know.
was great this year. I don't know. I feel bad. Yeah, he was great this year, and now he can't play on a team for the stage. I mean, that just
Yeah.
Because they
That
dropped
sucks.
him literally at like the
Unfortunate.
last minute after registration. Like it was like right as like it was like really recent. So it's like
Well, it's not like Android
going?
wouldn't
going?
like. There's not many options for Android
Yeah.
to go for, and that's not even what I'm mad about. I don't. This is just the nature of somebody trying to make an upgrade. It's just there's circumstances around Ethan and 100 Thieves, and then going over here. I don't necessarily think that this is a winning move for NRG. I don't think it's a losing move either. But I don't see Ethan as getting them over the edge. And making it into playoffs and a deep run towards Masters 2. You know,
Here's what I'm worried about with it is that there's a trend in North America where you get very heavily player-run teams, and I think we've seen enough evidence now to know that that's not the fucking key to victory, really, in North America and across the world as well. Actually, the global events that we've been witnessing, a lot of the minor region teams coming in with great prep work and strategy that I think a lot of their staff has like supplemented for them as well. I think in some of the translated interviews with like ZETA Division, their coach, they give respect to their coach a lot of time as well. And I mean, it just seems like the trend is that now NRG do have like a pretty good coaching staff, right? As far as I'm aware,
seems like they've been trying to bring in some structure along with this move.
Yeah, I've liked
they've
the
made
structure.
2 hires,
Then,
I think.
Yeah.
then the
they're hiring
Ethan
some people.
move, the Ethan move kind of feels like it's almost a return. I don't know, like if Ethan wants to play with, where did he say he wants to play with CS players as well? I didn't see this.
I mean,
It was
that
Nate Shot talking about him.
that was from like the Nade Shot did a stream where he was talking about what the team was
tell-all.
doing. He did
Cost us $3
tell-all
million.
stream. But yeah, he did. He was talking on stream about how the team was player run and they were trying to bring in big name CS guys, and they decided not to go with some of the Valorant talent.
Okay.
The players didn't want to play with some of the Valorant talent like Cryo and Xander.
Imagine
But they wanted
society
to
if
try
100
and bring
Thieves
in, like,
did
Breeze and stuff.
pick them up. Like if they had Cryo and Xander on the same team, like I feel like that team would have like actually just gamed.
Fucking owned.
It would have been so good.
I'm all for good vibes in a team and making changes based on the good vibes. Like if the team wanted Ethan in and they thought it would be good for them overall, fuck yeah. I mean, chemistry is incredibly important.
Yes.
You know, switching up the roles and shit, you know, you might not be able to play perfectly metacomps, but again, I'm literally coming off the opinion from this recent Masters event that you can play a lot of comfort roles and still find success if you are good enough and have enough prep and foresight.
As long
into
as
how
they
it
make
might
sense
match up.
together. Yeah, I fully agree
Yeah.
with that.
So
Yeah.
I look at this, but I do get a little bit worried just because inherently there's a lot of behind the scenes whispering, and I think in the past I've witnessed it as well with decisions that get made because a player wants to play with another player because they knew them from back in the day, and usually that doesn't. You're not laying the foundation. You're not laying the path forward for good growth. I think as a team, I think when issues arise, if your first answer is to cut a player, then yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really see that there was issues. I don't know. NRG kind of got screwed in their group in stage 1. Let's face it. They were one of the better teams in their groups, but they had a fucking hard group, and it felt like they kind of just got boomed overall.
I am also a little scared of a whirlwind coming with Ethan rejoining NRG. He was on NRG in CS, and now that team is Team EG. I don't know. It's like there's the connection there, and I'm scared. Android's already gone. I'm just connecting the dots, you know, like something's about to happen.
CS migration.
Yes, another CS migration is going to blow up NRG.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
automatically default to pessimism with stuff like this when I'm seeing it, but it could just fucking work out. I don't know. Like, I always thought that Chet was just useless, man. Like, genuinely, I just thought he was useless. Like,
Sure.
because it felt like every team he joined just did really poorly.
Yeah.
But I think it's from hearing him talk at interviews, he just needed like a team that obviously enjoyed working with him, which is, there's a lot of people because the guy's got a lot of history, but it's clear that he's got good ideas in terms of comps and shit to run, and he just needed the right circumstances, I guess, where the team wanted to actually knuckle down and focus.
Kurt, why are we watching a 2018 CS:GO roster
Dude, what is
announcement
going
from him?
He joined
This is when he
NRG.
joined NRG.
No, this is the new announcement video. He just joined.
Ethan's going back to CS:GO.
Welcome to the NRG fan.
Nath.
Yeah, I'm
New
slowly
video,
getting
I don't know
absorbed
what
by the
you're talking
abyss.
Yeah, you are. You are just going deeper and
Yeah,
deeper into
I don't
the
know.
darkness.
Pessimism is probably the path. I don't know. I don't have faith. I don't have faith. They might qualify, might
I don't
not.
have-
I don't think they're. I don't know. Guys, let's just watch challengers and see if they do well.
I have no feeling. I feel no optimism,
I'm
no
apathetic
pessimism.
to this change.
I simply view this information, nod my head, and go, okay. That is it. We'll just see what
We're
happens,
gonna
I
have
guess.
to see how it shakes out.
And I just hope
seriously,
I just hope
yeah.
Android gets the team because that dude was good. But all right, version 1. They signed Wardell from you guys remember him from TSM? He's on version 1 now, playing what I can only assume will be Chamber a lot, given that Whippy cannot play due to visa issues, which is why he's been brought on as a sub for this stage. That's a pretty good sub to get if you're version 1, I think. That should be pretty good. It'll be interesting to see Wardell in a totally different environment where he has to perhaps fit into the system rather than make the system fit around him.
That's what I'm concerned about. Like, I
Yeah.
like Wardell, but I don't like. I'm not like a Wardeller. Like, I'm definitely not a Wardeller. I think he's a
You're not a
talented
Wardeller,
player.
not a tier 3.
I'm not a tier 3 Wardell sub. I think he's a talented player, but I think Whippy's roles on this team were really variable. Like, I think one of Whippy's biggest strengths was his flexibility. He was really good at the Killjoy. I thought the Killjoy was his best role. His Chamber was solid. There was maps where he played Viper. There was maps where he played the Sage.
completely agree.
Like, he did everything, and he was so good at it. Like, sure, he's a great fragger as an individual, but I thought Whippy's strength was always his clutch and his flexibility, whereas Wardell is like, he's a good player, but he's like a Giga Chamber one trick these days and just chamber ops every map.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is he gonna adapt and change and fit into those same roles? I'm not sure if I have faith in that. I think he's a good player, but from what we saw, like, V1 is a team about having flexibility in their roles and pulling out these creative new comps. And I don't know if a one trick chamber fits into that. I think this is going to be a big test for Wardell to prove to us that he can be more than just a Jett chamber star. Because he will not be the star in this substitute position. He needs to change. He needs to flex up, and it's going to be a big test for him.
How were they doing the roles? Do we know?
He's just gonna play Chamber.
Yeah, I mean,
I
I'm
think he's
assuming
just
they're
going to play
slot
chamber.
him
And
in
my
have him play
question is,
chamber.
does that work for this team? Does that work for V1? Because I'm not sure. My initial take is I don't think that's a good change. But we know he's a good player. We know he's good at chamber.
I think it's
just
fine
chamber
for
the right
certain
option.
maps. Like, just avoid Fracture, and I think they'll be fine. No,
But they were so good at Fracture, man.
no, I know
keep
they
an eye
were,
on it.
but it's just like
I think they'll be fine.
I think they'll be
You think they'll
fine
be
too. I think
fine?
this team is good enough, no matter what. Currently, to miss Whippy just a little bit through the open qualifiers.
Yeah, it
And
feels bad,
again,
man, for
Oh,
Whippy.
it's so how is that? How long it's actually for?
He said he has his. No. We don't know how long.
He
it's
just
gonna be for,
tweeted
but
that he has
just
his visa.
tweeted he got his visa. Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm hopeful. I think Wardell's a good player. I think this is his chance to prove that he can be a gamer beyond just like being a one trick and just doing his one thing. And yeah, hopeful. Woo,
Yeah, I think
joy.
Under the understanding that Whippy will be back in. Yeah, I think this will be fine. They'll be able to cook up some stuff.
I
to
still
just
fully
actually get
expect
through
them to make challengers easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they
think-
not one of the teams that auto? Oh yeah, they bombed out of playoffs and it was only top 4 that made it, so they do have to requalify.
It's the same exact qualifying structure where it's 4 teams from the first one and 4 teams from the second one.
Yeah. I mean, they'll be fine. I believe in version 1. They'll be fine. Okay.
I like
next-
Mimi's point.
What?
I do like that point though about the before we move on. I'm just going to be an idiot and just. But no, I want to stay on this.
You're
topic,
ruining
actually.
Wyatt's hosting again.
Yeah, I'm just talking. It's hard. There's a delay. I'm in fucking Antarctica right now. Sun has disappeared
You're in the
permanently.
cold dark.
Yeah, I don't know. But no,
Yeah.
I actually interrupted your hosting just to say I really liked Mimi's point.
What
That was
point?
it.
I don't even know what
Just
point.
the
I don't even know what
idea
point.
of it being a bit of an opportunity of redemption for Wardell.
Yeah, and it increases his chance
Yeah.
of 100 Thieves Wardell. No.
Redemption.
I really had nothing else of substance to add, so I apologize for running over you.
I forgive you. The next topic. The Sentinels have signed Kanpeki from a crew, and they drop zombs for going negative in every map this year. But he's still rich, is what the title says. Listen, I don't know. I mean, that's the title. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Interesting, definitely an interesting signing, but I like it. I thought Kanpeki was an excellent player over there on a crew, and I think it's a cool pickup. I think I like the idea of Kanpeki on a top level team. Really it?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think if they want to, like, Sentinels in the process of dude, I have been so out of the loop with North America. Have they announced a coach yet?
I thought it was rumored that like Raucus was back in action because he was in a lobby with them or something.
They haven't announced a coach though.
Okay, they haven't
it's
announced a
official.
coach. Okay, I've been so out of loop. I just saw one day I like woke up and there was like 3 major changes that we've already listed. This being the 3rd one in North America with teams, and I was like, well, I feel like I've just got out of a coma or something. Like, where is this coming from? It just came out of nowhere for me. But no, I loved Kanpeki as a player watching him play in a crew. I'm curious how the roles will work out again, but usually the circumstance ends up being that I don't know, somebody. It's 6 moving to smokes, right?
I believe
What's
that
happening?
is that an assumption or
I thought I
spoken
read it somewhere.
truth?
I'm hoping. I need somebody else
Reddit is
to
my
back me
source.
up.
Reddit is my guide.
Source.
Yeah, I read it somewhere.
trust me.
I need confirmation.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna
let
be
me ask
honest.
my phone.
Don't know. I simply do not know. I don't have the information.
I wouldn't be surprised if maybe he plays like when you flex.
Okay,
sick-
Google. Is sick moving to smokes for Sentinels?
They're probably saying it right now.
Any good information there, Bren, via Google?
He played Astra when it was released with Shazam. And he posted a 30-minute YouTube video. So I'm gonna take that as a yes.
So I guess yeah, he is. I mean, that's
Yeah.
about as much proof as I need. That is as much proof as I need.
Yeah, he was playing flex. Like they took him off Duelist recently for a crew, and he was playing like Giga Flex. So he'll probably just take 6 role and play Giga Flex, and Dick will play smokes. He's a good player. He shoots the gun really well. Yeah.
That about does it, huh? That about seals it up.
That's my analysis.
Shoots the gun, plays some agents, gonna run around.
Let me prompt.
That's
was
the
Zombs
sweet.
the
Board and
problem?
mouse.
That's the juke.
This is my question. I'm prompting to you all. Was Zombs the problem? Do you think this will solve Sentinels' issues?
I think their mental
Um,
was the problem and like their team culture.
It's definitely a
problem.
part of the problem.
agree
I've gone
with-
through this. We've gone through this so many times.
know.
I know.
It's just. It's
So will it solve it?
Nope. Nope.
No,
Probably not. Probably not.
I think it's unlikely that there was
Unless
one.
Zombs was the one causing
problem.
strife within the team.
I want
Those
like
zombies are
I
the
just
math
want them
line.
to like go on their fucking monk arc, take away the streams, take away the
Yep.
Ferraris for 1 month, take them out into the fucking wilderness, throw them out there, and make them bond as a team.
It's
They'll
too
come
late.
back and they'll be ready to play the best Valorant ever. They'll
It's
come
too
back
late.
and they're gonna be new men. They're gonna be renewed. A fucking coaching staff. They would an analyst, a
Chet.
fucking mental coach. Chet is gonna be there. Everyone will be coaching Sentinels. Kanpeki's gonna be the best player ever, and they'll win champions. They'll
It's-
win it.
It's literally too late. Sick got his new Porsche recently. He's just cruising around
No,
Austin in the,
No, sell
in
the
the
house.
new,
Catch him
Sell the
anymore.
car.
new
Done.
whip.
Can't catch him.
It's over. It's
They've
just
fallen for
over.
the classic American materialism dream. It's done. They're fucked.
It's-
They need to, I agree with
Sentinels
Mimi. They
have
need to shave
actually-
their heads and go to the mountains.
They have
Send them to a
actually lost
military
materialism.
boarding school.
Materialism has killed your favorite Valorant
Dude.
team, the Sentinels. What can I say?
That's
It's
why,
over.
That's why esports should all be volunteers based. Am I right?
Yep, Drew.
Shouldn't pay
All right.
anybody.
this roster moves in Europe, and it's Fnatic. We talked about this last week. Is this really going to happen? Are they really going to do? And they did. They did the thing. They made
This is so stupid.
They made the 2 roster moves off the
This
back
is so
of.
fucking stupid. I don't know what they're doing at Fnatic. I can't imagine that it's the staff's decision because I have a lot of respect for them and I think they're quite intelligent. But Brave was a really good player. I thought Magnum actually played really well. And if you're taking the results of the tournament seriously, in which they were playing with 2 subs, you are silly and you should have responsibility removed from yourself in terms of making these overarching decisions. That's my take on it. Sorry to go off. I'm just fucking cutting you off all over the place, Wyatt, actually.
No, it's okay. I like the passion that you're bringing to this show. I like the passion.
Facts? It's ridiculous.
My question is
specifically Brave. I mean, Magnum we talked about last time, and just like, okay, well, for a while now, yeah, sure, maybe he's been playing okay, but for a while now, it's always been they couldn't really super. I don't know, man.
The thing is, okay, hold on. Did they say who made this decision and why? Or is it just, we did this? Because my question would be, okay, was this the players who made this decision? And because I would assume if the players made this decision, surely they didn't make it just because of the results of REYKJAVIK, right? Specifically the Magnum one. Surely there would be more weighing into that they felt like it was time to make a change than just REYKJAVIK. But if it was the staff, I then wonder if they just did some, a little bit of
guys, stop theory crafting. Look at the screen. Information.
No, I'm actually reading it right now. It says
roll down a little bit. We're talking about Magnum.
It literally says the reason that Kurt's highlighting it as well. He wants us desperately to read and use our eyes, but I never learned to read. But it is saying that it's because of the war in Ukraine. The political restrictions. They don't know if he'd be able to attend boot camps. Blah blah blah. This, that, and the other. Yeah, right. I mean, they are also giving a large chunk of the challenger's prize pool, which is
they're giving him 1 Ferrari and sending him off.
See that okay, I get that one. That is unfortunate. I understand that. The Magnum one is
the Magnum one is perplexing. Because I think they're basing that off of presumably the tournament where they're playing with 2 subs. In which case,
they're saying, however, as we reviewed as who is we?
The Shadow Council that owns Fnatic.
That's what I mean, right? I just don't. Who is the we?
Wait, Martin. They scroll down. Who is Martin? Go to the very bottom. Thank you, Martin. Always Fnatic. Who the fuck is Martin?
I think that's Magnum.
That's Magnum.
That's Magnum's name. I think that's the Magnum. We figured it out. We cracked the case. Magnum removed himself. We cracked the case. He decided to remove himself.
We figured it out.
So they did this saying that it's like on the back of they want to switch up the roles. They're going to have Mystic move over to Flex and have Boaster play support.
Isn't that
playing the initiator?
Dude, they said the same thing about Boaster when they got Brave. Was like, Boasters could be able to play more supportive. And now they're saying it again. But what the fuck?
I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. We will feel this will enable Mystic further. The thing is, though, I feel like Mystic was already super. He was already an above average fragger on the role he was playing. I don't really think there was a need to necessarily switch him. And was Magnum really? Was he inconsistent?
At times, but also I feel like you make this change. They're making this change off the back of Masters 1, right?
It seems to be that is the case, but there's just you can't. It's like I don't know. You can't know for sure, but that's just the way it looks.
I mean, the speed at which they did it after they got knocked out and the rumors started happening to me indicates that it was something that they've been thinking about for a little bit longer than just Masters 1.
Or they just, Fnatic management said, we need a win. We need a change. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
No more Magnum.
Let's bring over some CS players.
This is why European Valorant will never be good. Because they make these crazy changes. North American Valorant would never make a rash change. We think over in North America. That's why we're the best region in the world.
Yeah.
Good point.
NA number 1.
Accurate. True. This is why North America stays on top. Europe, stick with streaming. Stick with streaming.
Your V1 gang signer.
I'm trying to do an NA.
Excuse me?
That was a V1.
You can't. Definitely easier to do a V1.
I've
Definitely
done
easier.
so many gang signs on this podcast now. I don't know who I've pissed off with all the gang signs, but it's gonna be bad.
Yep, you're getting murdered tomorrow,
Oh
unfortunately.
shit.
Watch yourself.
VCT.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. There's breaking
No
news.
way.
Oh
What
no.
the fuck is this news?
What's the news?
Hiko's back. Hiko is unretired. What's the breaking news?
OpTic lost.
Oh,
announced their roster.
FaZe have announced the roster.
FaZe up.
Hold
Is
your headphones
Poach on the
for this
team?
news.
Yeah, I mean, this is
Oh.
FaZe have been kind of tearing up the tier 2 circuit to the extent that you could even question if they needed to make moves because they had been so dominant, but they did decide to make moves. They had the opportunity, it looks like, to sign some of the Rise guys, given that that team is dissolved, and, you know, reasonable to try and, you know, jump on it while they're available, even though you're doing well. This could make us even better. Let's bring in Superman and Poise. They're keeping Dicey and Baby Bay, obviously. And if people haven't been watching Tier 2 NA, Baby Bay and Dicey have just been tearing the scene up. Like, both of their stats are just outrageous. I mean, they pretty much are just running like chambered Jett on every map, and both of them are just going off. And then they also brought in Poach recently, who's just looked excellent on the team. Big Poach fan. I heckin' love Poach. So I'm glad that he's got a spot on what looks to be a pretty solid team. I mean, FaZe look like, I think FaZe definitely have a great shot at the very least making it into this next group stage in NA. I think that they should definitely be able to do that. But yeah, this is a good roster overall. They've been playing well in the tier 2 of NA, and now they brought in some guys with some good experience over the past few months from Rise, round the roster out, make a real run at it. I think they could do it. I think this FaZe roster is potentially going to, you know, surprise some people. I think they can make a solid run in NA. They look to be in crispy good form.
I like the look of it. I've always seen glimmers of that potential with the Rise guys, but I don't know. Poise is IGLing. The thing is, there's such a gulf. God, I need some light, man.
No,
I need some light.
I
Give me
kind
a
of like the
second.
vibe.
Yo, you needed some light like 2 hours ago at the very least.
I like the vibe.
He just had a like the whole
Okay,
time.
I'm back. Goes up. So yeah, I've always liked the vibe of Rise. I'm so bright now.
It
It
is
looks
so
like he's actually
bright.
in the house now. Like his bright wall blends into the background
The
so cleanly.
angels are just summoning you to heaven. It's so bright. Go on.
What's
though.
that? Jesus. Trying to take me away now? No, I've got Valorant to cast. Don't fucking take me yet. I've got to watch FaZe win because I'm talking about them. What the fuck am I talking about?
FaZe.
FaZe.
Poise.
Wow, my point was about Poise, is IGLing, because it's been pretty inconsistent over the course of his career. But I always thought that there was potential there, and I was a bit worried that that potential would never get met like on a team, because it sounded like the rumors were that he wanted to play with Shanks, right? Because, you know, obviously, but that was the rumor that they were going around. But Superman's a really talented player. Poise coming in as well. I think, isn't Shanks on the bench of this team?
That didn't. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of players on the bench. They got a lot of players. They got tons of coaches. They got analysts.
I think Shanks is on the bench to give them the 3 players
teaching
to
them
transfer the
breathing
Rise points over.
exercises, all types of shit.
They literally
pretty sure.
benched him just to steal the points. That's so
I think
funny.
Shanks has realized though, like Shanks has been a great player at times, but incredibly inconsistent. And so I was worried that if that was like a package deal where Poise wanted to go with him, then it would.
So he
hold
just
him back
sits
a
on
little
their
bit.
bench and
But I
claims
think
the
they've-
content bag. Is that what
Yeah,
we're
I think
thinking?
he's literally going to be just streaming, but I think he's on the bench, right?
It was a
Where am
rumor.
I
I
getting
don't
this
know
info-
if that's
Am I
confirmed.
dreaming this fucking
It was
information?
a rumor. It was a rumor.
Okay, good.
With
I
no
don't know if it's true.
confirmation, but it was a rumor. I
I might be
mean,
might just be
He
capping
might
it.
just be like on the Battlefire roster or something like that. Where
But yeah. Smart move all around. But I see potential with this roster. I see potential. I see it there.
They were
Just
very
like to do
good.
that.
I cast them in like that Boom TV event thing or whatever, one of the like tier 2 tournaments. They were
Yep.
really good. The coordination was nice. Having like a real IGL has clearly helped them a lot. And the player caliber is big, is huge. They're maybe gonna do good in VCT. I'm excited.
Yeah. Poach is a good IGL too. If you can meld the minds together, if there's no conflict between the brains of Poach and Poised, if they sort of combine into one super brain, I could see this team being pretty good. If you keep Baby Bay and Dicey in good fragging form, you got two solid players there. You have the super brain behind the team, and then you have Super Men being, just your rock solid anchor guy. I can see something here. I could see there's something cooking up in the FaZe camp. All right.
I think Baby Bay's more consistent than Shanks, so you're already going to solve one of the problems that the old Rise roster had.
Probably. I think he has higher peaks too. But
I mean,
this
what
year
if-
has been nuts.
Hear me out. What if they got rid of Baby Bay, got rid of Dicey, got rid of Poach, and then they added in maybe Neptune, maybe Shanks, and then they got Derek from
They
100
buy
Thieves?
out
I think that would
Derek.
be a really good roster.
That would be.
I think that would be really good.
That'd be pretty insane. That'd be pretty crazy. Yeah,
That'd be pretty
they're
cool.
doing pretty good though. FaZe, they're gonna
cool
make the group
execution.
stage. They're gonna be fine. They're gonna make the group stage. They're gonna probably. I think they can make the top 8. They're gonna make the
This
group
is the
stage.
best
They're gonna beat
roster FaZe has had,
Sentinels.
obviously all year so far.
This is the
Yeah.
best
All the
roster they've
different-
just had.
FaZe is looking better than ever.
This is
Dude,
Ball,
NA
this is
back
the
on
best
top,
roster
baby.
they've ever had.
Yeah.
This is why
that-
NA needs 15 slots.
Yeah,
FaZe is
obviously
gonna
why,
win now.
because this is like in comparison to like the level of before is what I was alluding to. But yeah, you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah,
That FaZe
at
shot
least at
up.
that level, but we're
I hope
taking
he
it to the
stays on
next
the
level.
team.
And I like Poach. Poach is cool.
I like Poach.
Good luck.
Cool.
Okay, VCT Stage 2 is set to begin this weekend. Who will come out on top and who will, I don't know, get knocked
Perish.
out, even though they're getting paid
And the team
millions
will
of
blow up
dollars.
and die.
I think so. We got all the clout teams in. We got you got your TSMs, your 100 Thieves, your FaZes. All the clout teams are ready to go. You got Sentinels even.
T1.
We're going to break viewership records in this open qualifier this weekend, depending on what kind of matches we get to see. If we get TSM Sentinels to qualify for a 12th place group stage slot, you know that shit's breaking Iceland viewership records, all right? This open qualifier is about to go
Kitties.
crazy. TSM are playing the Discord kitties. There's all types of crazy shit going on this weekend. But all the teams that were in the previous playoff bracket have gotten into or in the previous group stage, sorry, have gotten automatically into the round of 32. And then like the X set, like your top 4 teams, the X set, Cloud9, whatever, they're already through to the group stage. So you got
All right,
8
guys.
teams coming through for this weekend. Yes. What, Mimi?
This is a cloutless team. This is a team with no influence, no clout.
Well, I
think
don't
they're
care.
gonna do well. Ghost Gaming. Ghost Gaming has
Oh,
been
yeah.
forming. They beat TSM. They beat Knights. They've been fucking everyone in the tier 2 team. Their new roster is nuts. Koala Noob, Nismo, Aproto, Brock U, and John QT. They're really good, and I think they're gonna do well. And they have like a giga easy bracket, at least to get to, I don't know, to the closed or to the group stages.
The round
To the
of
main
30.
event. Yeah, to the main thing. Team Opulent, who are you? 5 of a kind? I don't know. Nation Gaming, not sure who that is. Ghost Gaming on top.
Yeah, Ghosts. I did see they won. They just won a tournament. I mean, you could see it
Yep.
in their little match history, and they just dominated. Yeah, the roster is crazy. Nismo's been nuts on that team for a minute. Like actual top NA player, just
They
on
were really
Ghost
close to
Gaming,
Wait,
just
I have another one,
dominating
guys.
tier 2.
Girl Kissers is back.
They're back.
No way.
Girl
better
Kissers
than
is
ever.
back.
Dude, what?
Girl Kissers is back, and they're
There we
playing
go.
versus
There they are.
Phoenix too. Here's the thing:
Phoenix
Girl
2.
Kissers has Moonblue. He played for Hong Kong in the Overwatch World Cup, and we love Overwatch, so I love
Yep.
Girl Kissers.
The record hasn't been good recently, but this is where they turn it around. This is where they make a big run. Trust me, guys. Trust me. Yeah, so this is, I mean, my biggest surprise is just this shit's starting already. I'm like, wait, the Iceland just ended? This shit's already
Yeah.
starting? Dude,
They
there's
need to
no
fit
break.
shit
No
in.
breaks. No breaks.
I
There's no
want to,
breaks.
I don't know. I want to go outside, like, play some kickball in the park this weekend.
Grass.
But there's just
You have to
Valorant.
react. You
There's
have
just,
to react.
I know. I just have
Wyatt.
to react to Valorant
It is-
gameplay. Oh,
it
look
is
at the
nonstop.
extremity control or whatever the fuck. It's
It is
crazy.
nonstop. It is. Yeah, they've packed this circuit in. There's no real time for breaks. This is like what we went from. I mean, when
Yep.
well, did they release a timeline for the Masters events and for champs?
What happened here?
They release like when it's happening generally.
What? I'm sorry. What
Nice.
team was that?
Can we see that again? Can we see that again?
What's important here, though, is that
So
I don't
done
know.
with this.
I've ran out of steam. I don't even know what guys.
Wyatt Weekly Award?
Is there any like? Does anyone have anything really important that they need to say about VCT Stage 2?
I'll be watching when it gets like towards the top 16.
So you don't even care about these NA teams. These
I'm
I do.
still salty. There's 3 games in a row that they're playing in one day. Oh, it's gonna kill me. Oh,
It's a
I
lot
have
of
to watch
gaming.
this.
It's
Oh.
a
That's
lot of
so much
computer
content to
gaming.
react to.
I know.
Oh
There's a
my
lot
God.
of content.
You're gonna have to
I just-
react so hard to all this content.
It's way more efficient to just watch a VOD that's already happened.
Yeah.
That's
It's
my logic
even
behind
more
it.
efficient to never watch the games, look at the scoreboard after, and then make up narratives. That's even
No.
more
I'm
time
actually, I
efficient,
might
honestly.
do that. Actually, if I get hired for Stage 2 VCT as like a caster, I'm not gonna do any prep work. Actually, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
just look
actually
at the
really smart.
scoreboard.
Yeah,
and be
I
like,
think that's
wow, dude. Well,
efficient.
Kanpeki was putting up really good numbers on Neon like 3 months ago with a completely different roster and coach on that team. So I think Sentinels should be coming into this with a Neon comp.
That's
See,
smart, dude. Like
I'll just
you
build
should.
narratives around
You
that.
should be on the desk, man. I want to hear this analysis, this heavy hitting analysis more often.
And I'll include numbers so people know it's not falsified.
Exactly. As long as you say the numbers, people think that you're smart. That's the actual grind. Everybody be like, oh, dude, I watch VODs 24 hours a day. Dude, I watch no VODs and just make shit up and look at me go. All right, let's get into the weekly award.
Film dissolve.
There it is. Oh shit. Okay. This week we had a big week in Valorant history. Historical events have occurred. We'll be talking about Masters REYKJAVIK 2 for years to come until there's like a franchise league and this is all irrelevant. But until we get to that point, this is Valorant history. This week, the weekly award
Oh, fuck.
goes to Ten's dog Mochi.
Get the fuck out of here.
No. There's a new dog.
Get
New look. Aw.
The dog is
Look at
cute. I'm dying. I'm gonna
Look
go.
at the look.
Dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
What? Look at the little
The
guy.
shit we've seen this week?
It's 2 weeks in a row, man.
We've seen
What about
the
ZETA
dog is
Division?
cute.
Oh,
What about Sentinels? What about
look at
OpTic?
Ten.
What
Look
about
at this
EA?
little guy.
The dog is cute.
He's so cute.
But
He's
a
so.
lot of Valorant happened.
He's so. Look at his little face. He's so adorable.
You know
What a
what?
cute
Fuck
dog.
it, I ship it. That's
Aw.
nice award.
I don't ship it.
Nice award.
That is
pulled the
such a.
muscle
It's
screaming.
just. It's just,
Very
Mochi's just such a cute dog, though. How could I?
Good name too.
How could I?
What's this?
What is that from? That's an awesome picture. What is that from?
Is that a HyperX ad? What is
Cooking it
this?
up. Let's go.
Wow. I'm glad. Thanks for pulling that up too, Kurt. That was a really good picture. All
So
right.
what's the real award?
That's it. That's
Are you
the
okay?
that's
That's
the
it. That's
award.
the tweet.
Bren's gone. Well, okay. I guess this is the end of the
Us.
episode. I guess this is the end. This is the end of the episode. Oh, Bren's back. You
The
okay?
episode's ending. So
Did you
can
get your
leave.
cold bolognese?
No, not yet.
Ice cold rock bolognese that
Dude,
you
I'm
put in the
getting
freezer?
blinded. I don't know what. I think these are not lights for a bedroom.
No, I can
These are
tell that
lights
they're not.
for. I think my nan might be doing surgery as like a part-time job, and this is like the surgery room. This is so fucking bright.
All right.
Turn the lights off.
Follow our Twitter at Plat Chat Podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel and turn on the bell so you know when we release the new episodes. And thank you for all the recent members. We had some members over the weekend, and that's it. We'll be back next week to talk about more Valorant. Bren, you look. I mean, I just like the setting. I like the setting a lot now. All right, everybody.
Streamer.
See you next week. Bye.